Man, that guy's a blessing. I just got to tell you. There's so many people all around the world, even that whether it's morning there or it's evening there or whatever, they tune in to Dazzle TV just to just to see Gino's positivity and uh, see what he's got going on, and to hear about the weather in the Philippines, to hear about current events in the Philippines, to hear about stuff that's going on, and I just I enjoy that guy so much, and if you ever meet them in person, enjoy Dazzle. She's like a breath of fresh air everywhere she goes, and then you got Mom, you got Leanna, and you get those two together, especially if they're fishing, and man, that's hilarious. The competition that they got going on in one household between Mom and Dazzle, and then you got Leanna over there doing her thing and pulling the fish off the hook for you, and it's just I I can't say enough good things about them. And I don't want to, it's not a love fest, folks, but I'm just saying they're just wonderful people to be around. And I'm sure maybe there's other people that don't feel that way. And that's just human nature. Not everybody gets along with everybody else. Henry Broussard is in the house. Good morning, Henry. Thanks for doing it. How am I doing this morning, Colonel? I'm doing great. You know, uh, it was kind of a weird night last night. I woke up at like 3:25 in the morning, and tossing and turning, and getting up to the sea, or doing a normal thing that we do at my age, and just doing it, and then I watch, catching up on news on YouTube and looking at different things on my phone, which is such a bad habit, yeah. And I was just going to get up and I was going to start live streaming really early, and then I thought, nah, you know what? You need your sleep there, Colonel. So, which I sleep, folks. I sleep lately. I've only been sleeping like 5 hours a night because of the sleep apnea and the damage that I've done over the years from not being treated for that. But be as it may, I just decided, okay, I'm going to go back to sleep. So I put the old mask back on. I hate that thing, but it's keeping me alive. You know what I mean? If I didn't wear that, I'd probably be dead already, to be quite honest, as bad as I have sleep apnea. But yeah, and then the next thing I know, it was like 8:30 already. I'm like, oh man, let me see if Gino's on there. And then I had to call James. James during that time too is weird. I'm usually awake by then, but James had called me around 7:20 or something. Normally I'd be awake and I got that call, but I didn't see it, so I call him up, see what's going on, and hopefully they're going to be, well, after they leave Leyte and do their traveling around. They're going to stop over here to see the old Colonel over here in Iloilo, and then we're going to film for the multi-cab and try to get that out there. And I'm still, I started working on something to as a part one for that, and I gotta tell you, I'm still too lazy to put that out there. I started it because I got a lot of material to put together, and I'm working on it, folks. Just bear with the young old guy or the old young guy or whatever, and we'll do it. Yeah, I took a break yesterday from working on the multi-cab because I'm putting in the sound deadening material, and because I got to get it all put back together before James and Karen come here so we can video it, And that's just a first step of many things I'm going to do with that multi-cab, just so you know. And it's all good. And also, folks, go over there and check out the Bella's Travelers channel, where he's gotten the more videos up there of his vanilla, his startup operation that he's doing over there, and some of the stuff that he's learned about that and whatnot. And over there on James and Karen Adventures, they've got some videos about that too. And I guess they're not getting the watch as many people looking at it as they thought they would. And so go help them out if you don't mind. James and Karen Adventures channel and Bella's Traveler channel, and that would be a good thing to help them out. And you know what? I wanted to mention this too. I don't usually self promote a whole lot. Hey Norm, hey mate. Hey Norm, thanks for stopping in. Norm, you stopped in just in time. I was about ready to talk about you, and I'm up to, I'm still not monetized, folks. And like I said, I don't usually self promote a whole lot, and I don't beg people or anything. But Norm and the crew there in Australia and whatnot, they've been helping out a lot with helping me get the watch hours to get up to monetization level. And I tell you what, I had a huge jump in the YouTube studio is like 5 days behind. But in the last day, I forget, we're up to what, the 17th or the 18th of March, and I'm up to 2517, so 2,517 watch hours. So that's fantastic because I don't have a lot of long form videos out there for you all to watch. I got a lot of live streams, which live streams, to rewatch a live stream can be pretty monotonous, if you don't see the chats or whatever. But anyway, that was awesome. That was like a 50 hour jump or whatever. And I thought of you, Norm, right up the bat. I thought, that's Norm. That's Norm helping me out. And happy to help, mate. Yeah, I appreciate you, Norm. And anyone else that's out there watching. And there we go. Now we jumped up. I had the spike when I came on. A lot of people come in, and then everybody falls away because they're like, I don't want to listen to this guy. Don't know what he's talking about. So we're down to 5 people, but that's still good. 3 thumbs up. So smash that thumbs up if you don't mind. That helps put the live stream out there and help me get some more watch hours off of that. And it's all good. And yeah, I was thinking I should show you. I'm going to do this. I wasn't never going to do this, but I'm going to show you the mess I got going on in my house here. Hold on. Yeah. Yeah, see, there's my compressor over there. I got a few tools strewn out there on the floor, and and I got, there's the seats from the multi-cab, the 2 front seats, armrest. There's one of the pads for the floor. You see my fancy house, how I live so extravagantly. And there's a sound deadening material. I got 2 thicknesses there. And, and then, I got my little work table there. That's where I do my live streaming. And there's my green screen everybody talks about, which is not a green screen. And there's a couple, I made these tables. That table there, made this crappy table here. And that's what I do for fun. I do a little bit of woodworking, a little bit of steel working. And then I had an accident this morning, and I mentioned this on Gino's channel. And I tell you what, when you're making your coffee in the morning, and see, I cheat. I'm not doing brewed coffee or anything like I used to do back in the day. Let me sit back down here before I fall over. So I like my Copico Blanca, which is this little thing. And I'm going to tell you what, don't ever let one of these little things get away from you. Yeah, Copico, if you want to sponsor the Colonels Chronicles, I drink your product every day. But anyway, it's not good for you, but it tastes good. And anyway, I dropped this little sucker over there by my coffee pot, my hot water pot, or my water pot that heats up water. And, I corrected myself there because I had this guy, Ronnie Malden. I'm going to mention his name on here. He was my brother back in the day when I was still working. And we were lieutenants together in Georgia. And, I used to tell him, my house, I got to replace the hot water heater. And he's like, oh, Doug, what's a hot water heater? He goes, I said, well, so it heats up the water. He goes, well, isn't it just a water heater? Are you putting hot water in there first? Or are you putting... I was just looking at him like, I know what he's saying, and he's right. But I'm just like, we always grew up calling it a hot water heater. Because it heats up hot water, or it makes water hot. So we call it hot. He's like, it's just a water heater, Doug. And I was just like, come on, Ronnie, man. Give me a break, man. But anyway, that's why I said that. So I look at that little, I call it coffee pot. It's not a coffee pot. It's a water heater pot, little electric thing. But it heats up water quick. Well, anyway, I was over there with this little packet, and I went to dump the packet into my coffee cup right here, my little Colonels Chronicles coffee pot, which cup, not pot, coffee cup, which, by the way, before I go on with the story, had an accident yesterday, too. I was taking all my dishes in the plastic container out to the dirty kitchen area where there's a sink out there, because I have more room to wash his dishes there than in the sink that's inside here, and there's a problem with the drain in the sink here that I haven't fixed yet, because it's not my house, but I need to fix it. And I told the owner I'd fix it, so I got to do it. But anyway, I had it balancing on the edge of the sink, and it fell as I went to open up the door. And I knew it. I knew it was going to happen. As soon as I was like, man, I shouldn't do this. And no sooner I do that, I reach up. Yep, it fell. So I broke that big coffee mug that I drink out of, folks, the big one, the double cup. I broke it. Well, I broke the handle off of it. So I'm thinking about epoxying that, and so I still have it. But yeah, I wasn't too happy about that yesterday. But anyway, this slipped out of my hand as I went to dump it into my coffee cup, all over the floor in the kitchen. And, well, not all over, but still, it was a mess, okay? And what a pain in the butt that was, man. I just shook my head. I was trying to watch Gene. I'm just like, Man, unbelievable. That's not the way I wanted to start my day, cleaning up freaking coffee powder all over the floor. But it is what it is, and it's all good, you know. So what's going on with my? I don't know. Hold on one second here. Let's see my chats here. I think I'm not getting all the. Well, it says I am. I guess I'm just boring. Only four people in here. That's all good. So, so Norm, back to you, man. So keep doing what you're doing, and all your little accounts, your accounts and whatnot. Keep helping a brother out. Uh, I'm well. I mean, I'm almost there to the 3,000 watch hours, which is the first level, and then I need 4,000. So it's all good. But I see my numbers dropping on who's watching the live stream. So I guess talking about Copica Blanca is not interesting to anybody, but it's all good. And then I mentioned Bella's Traveler and his vanilla operation over there. Go over there and check them out. And a lot of people are commenting, making comments and stuff. And he makes it sound easy and stuff, but processing vanilla, he's got some work ahead of him. And fortunately, he's got some workers and hopefully they can get it done and he can fulfill his dream for that vanilla. I hate to always be the negative person, but I tackle problems I tackle issues by looking at. Thanks, Norm. I appreciate you still being here. When I go to do something, I don't want to just be Mr. Positivity about everything. Oh, it's going to be wonderful. It's going to be wonderful because that's not real life. Problems arise, wrinkles arise, and it's how you handle that, and that's how you approach it. But for me, I like to plan ahead for and have a contingency for every event. And sometimes I'm successful, sometimes I'm not successful. But you got to have a plan. You got to think, okay, well, what if? What if this? What if that? Like Bellows talks about too, a typhoon coming in and taking out uh, sun cloth, shade cloth, and stuff. Which I don't know. I don't think he ever put that up there. But anyway. But you're right. A typhoon if you're doing crops or farming, yeah, a major typhoon could come in and just wipe out your whole crop. Everything that you've got going on, and then you got to start. So you got to have a contingency. Okay, what if that happens? What am I going to do? Do I have this set up? Do I have that set up? So it's nice to have contingency plans in place. And I mean, we did that for my job too. What if there's a riot? What if this happens? What if that happens? What's our contingency? What's a program statement say? What are we supposed to do? What do we have to take care of? I like that scene from the picture, that fall from the picture going right down to the top of my head. Maybe I should move a little bit, but maybe I should move it. I don't. That took it out. But anyway, I always laugh about people saying that. Yeah, nice green screen. It's not a green screen, but so anyway, so that's what I got going on. And you see, I still got. I put two of the seats back in, but I still got more sound deadening to do on that multi-cab, and I might just do the floor and stop, and then wait on the other doors to do them. I did the whole back of it already, so the whole back is covered. The steel, the metal is the body panels are covered with the sound deadening material. I'm hoping it helps because I decided I'm going to spend a little bit of money on the sound system, and it's not going to be the loudest thumping sound system, because if that was the case, I'd probably put JBLs in, but I don't think I'm going to put JBLs in. I'm going to put in a different brand of speaker, and it's going to be some fabrication that's going to have to be done with that, and I haven't decided if I'm going to do it myself or if I'm going to have somebody else do it. And by do it myself, I mean fabricate my own speaker boxes and stuff like that. But I think that's what I'm going to do, or going to have to do, because I want to be able to move them around. I want to be able to pull them out of the little van. If I stop somewhere, I want to be able to have the long monster cables and set the speakers outside, so if we want to enjoy music while we're having a picnic or eating, or just on the side of the road or whatever, in the middle of a stinking rice field, whatever, I just like to have that versatility, and I think, I just want to have fun with this little multi-cab. And that's really, a lot of people ask me, why did you buy that and everything? And I said, because I saw one day, and I really liked what I saw. And I saw the potential that it had for the versatility of how you could use a multi-cab. And even for James and Karen, he loves that XL, that Honda he has, a motorbike, and he likes doing that and everything. But, I try to point out to him and tell him, hey, a multi-cab, you guys could do even more. Now, if he just likes off-roading and he does off-roading on a motorbike, which he likes and enjoys, that's fine. That's what he wants to do. That's fine too. But as as times go on, and maybe their family grows, they're going to need a four-wheel vehicle if they want to be a little bit more safer. And believe it or not, that all-wheel drive and the four-wheel drive multi-cat, they can go up pretty steep inclines, and they can go up into the rocky stuff. I've been watching videos of the guys in the U.S. taking their little K trucks out there and going different places and pretty much not getting stuck for the most part. And if they do, what they're doing is they'll put a little winch on, or they'll have a come along or whatever, and they can get out of most of their situations. And the one guy I was watching, what he did, he kind of couldn't get up the hill. He just backed up a little bit further and gave it more speed, and it got up over. I mean, it was pretty steep incline. I was impressed. I was like, wow, okay, cool. I didn't think he was going to make it. There was two of them. The one made it, and the second one, he was struggled a little bit, but he backed up, started over, and he just went and made it up over there on that multi-cab. So mine is not forward. It's not what you say two-wheel or four-wheel drive. It's all-wheel drive. So it's four-wheel drive all the time. Wow, that was interesting. I jumped up to 21 people and then back down to 15. Go ahead and hit that thumbs up, folks, if you don't mind. I appreciate it. Make a comment in here as you're scrolling past, or just stop and say hi or whatever. Tell me where you're from. I'm the Colonel from the Colonels Chronicles. Oh, you know what I didn't say? Norm knows. Most of the people know that know. I'm over here in Iloilo in the Philippines. Beautiful day today. The sun's out already. And I stepped outside because at first I thought it was cloudy or whatever. It's just kind of, but it was because I looked outside. It was too early when I looked out before. But now the sun's out. It's going to be another probably hot day here. But we seem to Iloilo, we seem to get a breeze too. And we are right near the water. We're near the coastline, so we still get all that. But that's what I got going on with and my thoughts about that multi-cab. And because, I do live by myself. But that could change in the future. I don't know. I hope I live long enough to have that. And I've been dating people. Everybody, not everybody, but a lot of people like to check up on the Colonel's dating life and on my love life or lack thereof, or if I have one or whatnot. And I kind of get a kick out of that because I throw little things out, little caveats out, but I don't tell the whole story of what all I got going on because I'm very careful. And what's Norm say? Norm just popped in and said something. I'm sure he can find places to blog in the multi-cab. Absolutely. I might try to visit as much of Samar Island if I can. Not very many vids about Samar. Yeah, and but Norm, there's reasons for that, Norm. There's reasons why people don't go over to Samar and vlog over in Samar, because there's certain areas you gotta check with the locals before you take certain roads in Samar to make sure that there's not activity going on that you don't want to be a part of, and that's all I'm going to say on that. But I watched one video of a guy who's going down through from where I live and heading down through the peninsula. I'll call it the peninsula, but going down there towards Naga, Bicol region, Naga, and they were going all the way down to the corner. They took a ferry over to Samar, and when they got over to Samar, you come out the ferry, and then the road. You got two different directions. You can either turn left, go to the east side, or you can turn right, kind of right, and then go or straight. But anyway, you can go down the west side of the island, and they stop and get fuel. And the people there, and they, we're talking to the people. They're on a motorbike and they're cross country riding, like James and Karen. Only they had a bigger bike and whatnot. But they were talking to the people, and the people told them, "Yeah, don't go don't go left, go right," because there was some activity over there that you don't want to be a part of. And I guess there was a checkpoint for something, and maybe they were collecting a toll over there, if you know what I mean. But anyway, I think that's why there's not a lot of vlogging over there in Samar. But there are some videos out, but not many, Norm. So if you got the ability to do it, and you know what you're doing, and you got somebody with you that can navigate the intricacies of the human interaction on Samar, boy, I don't know how that just popped in my head to say it like that. But anyway, if you got the ability to do that, then go for it. Oh, there we go. We're even now. We got 5 people hanging out in here. We got 5 thumbs up. So at least we're equal. But I'd like to see that. Now there's 6 on my screen. Go ahead and hit that thumbs up for me, folks, if you haven't. But I'd like to see that 21 people watching and 21 likes. And someday I'll get there, But it's all good. Let's see, what else? I was going to talk about something else. Talking about the multi-cab. Yeah. Oh, I mentioned this a little bit earlier. I talked to James, and hopefully they're coming over here, or they're going to be able to come when they come in through the ferry. Not sure which port he's coming in yet, because I asked him, "Are you coming into Damangus or are you coming into Iloilo City?" And what's that, Norm? Turning right from Allen takes you along the coast. It's the main highway. Straight ahead takes you to the catamaran where I'll be. Okay. Or catamaran. Got to work on the bifocals there. There's transition glasses. You got to, you got to be holding your head just right to be able to read stuff properly, and that's all good. Hey, Norm, would you ever consider heading over to Iloilo? That'd be fun meeting you, man. 'Cause I don't think I'm coming over to Samar now. I might. I mentioned the gym, a hobby we should do on here. Yeah, I come over to Taclola if you're near there, and come over to Samara and meet up with you. But then I had a date yesterday that might change things. So I've been talking to a lady, and I decided to go meet her finally, and went to meet her yesterday. A lovely, lovely young lady, and yeah, it was good things, and I finally, someone from the Iloilo area, so that makes it nice too, and I don't know if my friend Jen's in here lurking in the background, not saying anything, but yeah, Jen, as I told you, I had a new girlfriend possibly, and so that's where I'm at that on that, and like always, folks, I'm not saying a whole lot about that. She knows I do YouTube. She's been helping me watch videos too, and get my watch hours up, and we'll see. Seems like a really really nice family, nice person, and I'm to the point now where back in the day, I want the most beautiful. I want a model. I want a girlfriend, arm candy. And, like most guys that come over to Philippines or Thailand, they want arm candy, want the most beautiful girl. But you know what? That's not what life is always about in relationships. It's not what it's always about. It's what's in the heart, and you all know that. What's in the heart is most important. You want a good person. You want a person that's going to be willing to take care of your old self. And when your body starts failing and falling apart, you want to know, is this going to be a woman that's going to stick with you and take care of you, and just an overall a responsible person, and someone that you can trust. And for me, my issue throughout life has been trying to find somebody that I can actually trust. You put your trust in people, but that doesn't mean that you should be putting your trust in that individual. And sometimes it takes a little while to find out. One time it took me 9 months to find out, and I consider that a short time, and I found out. Another time it took almost 4 years for me to realize, hey, you really can't trust this person. Well, another time it took me a year and a half, and then I found out that she was cheating on me. So, it is what it is. But yeah, so I met somebody. I'm always meeting somebody, and that's the thing too. A lot of people, they think for a foreigner, if they're going to go meet a Filipina or they're going to go meet a Thai lady, that it's a physical transaction when they first meet. Well, no, it shouldn't be that way. I'm not saying that it isn't that way sometimes for some people, but if you're looking for a real, genuine relationship with somebody, is that what you want to base your relationship on? Because physical things go away. Or if you get injured and you can't perform certain activities anymore, well, it changes your life. A case in point, I used to exercise regularly every day in Thailand. I was getting up, working out on the free body machines that the local Thai government would set up, little workout stations for people and stuff. And they were great there in Phuket, Thailand. And I was walking around the lagoon and walking the beach, and then I would work out on the machine. I can't remember, did I walk first and then work out? I can't remember how I did it. No, I think I worked out first, then I went walking. And anyway, oh my goodness, Bellas, please tell me you didn't put me on the big screen, man. You got a rat problem there at the house? I thought the dogs took care of it. You put me on the big screen, I'm going to take care of all your rodent problems. Mosquitoes will probably fly away too. But that's funny, man. But I appreciate it. And Bella says, "Hey, Norm." And yeah, we all need the blessings of God, Bellas. Ain't that the truth, man? You got a lot going on there too. Hey, Bellas, back shortly. Oh, I missed that, Norm. Hold on, let me back up. I missed some chats there, folks. Sorry about that. Once I have a car, this is from Norm. I want to go on a road trip, so may see you one day. Absolutely, Norm. Man, I look forward to that. I know Bellas just, we could work it out even maybe because I think Bellas is going to try to come over to Panay Island sometime to see where James and Karen live. I hope they come down to see me, or I'll go up there and yeah, yeah, I mean, I ain't got the house Bella's has, so I don't know if that they'd be staying at my house. But anyway, this is not, this place ain't nice enough. I just say that much. But I would be embarrassed to have anybody stay here for a long time, or even overnight even. But we can make it happen. And I'll need to pop off for 30 minutes to call Marissa. I'll jump back on if you're still around after I finish. All right, Norm, I appreciate it, man. Take care of the more important stuff. Got to take care of the ladies in our lives. They're more important than a live stream, that's for sure. But I said, yep, you're on the big screen. Everyone here running different directions. That's good as long as you're not watching that, because, oh my goodness, that's scary, man. But yeah, I just tell everybody, you put me on the big screen, that's going to scare away all the rats and the mice out of the house, and that's all good. But so anyway, I was talking about this young lady that I met yesterday. And I decided to go meet her because it was just easier. Because she works full time and she's educated and beautiful young lady. And I talked to her brother also beforehand too, and he's been at OFW and worked for Royal Caribbean there for a bit, and just a nice guy and whatnot. So we'll see what happens with that. I was kind of happy. I said I'm happy to meet her, and because I've been struggling to meet somebody local, it just hasn't worked out. And what I find, the women here in Panay, the ones that are from this area, especially Iloilo, they're not forward. They will not. I mean, you have to instigate the conversation, or you have to instigate the meeting. Most of the women here, they're not like if I'm walking around SM or what, they're not gonna. I mean, they'll smile at you if you smile at them sometimes, not always, but they're not like say women over on Cebu, or women like if you go to let's just be honest, if you go to Angeles City, you know what that's all about. The women here are not like that on this island. They're more subtle and they're more of like you could say introverted. Or shy would be another way. But, I mean, because my trips over to Cebu, oh my goodness, they ain't shy over there. In Cebu City, no. They're looking for action over there. And sometimes they're looking for ATM action, if you know what I mean. And it's just based on my experiences. I tell people, first time I went to Cebu, oh my goodness gracious! And I wasn't. I'm just minding my own business, going over there about my SRV visa, and meeting with C&G Consulting, and I got proposition, broad daylight, noontime on the street, and then you go over there to One Eye Isle or whatever. That's like the pickup mall over there. I hate to say it, folks. I'm just being honest. I'm just being brutally honest. And I wasn't even in that mall 5 minutes before I had a lady come up to me and harangue me there and want me to take her back to my hotel. And I'm looking at her like, Mom, I didn't come here for that, And furthermore, I just got here. I haven't even been in this mall 5 minutes. I just like walked in and stopped. And I guess that was the signal because I stopped and I was looking at my phone. That was the signal for, he's a tourist. He's fair game. Let's go get him. And yeah, man. And then she left mad because, but that's not what I'm all about, folks. I don't pay for that stuff, and I wasn't looking for a companion. I don't care if it was just a massage. And let's be honest, we know that it wasn't just going to be a massage in her eyes, So, and then, yeah, 5 times my first visit in Cebu City, I left there. I was like, this city is wild, And I walked around the city and whatnot. And that one lady on the street, she's like, yeah, what hotel you staying in? I'm like, I'm not staying in a hotel, or I'm staying in a hotel. I said, I'm not going to tell you the hotel I'm staying in. She goes, well, I'll wait for you. I said, I know you will. And I said, when I get back, you'll be outside that door doing the same thing you're doing now, trying to get me to take you. I said, I'm not trying to do that. It's not what I'm here for. I said, I appreciate the fact that you're showing interest, but, it's not what I'm. She goes, well, I'm not like these other girls. They come out here on the street around 4 o'clock or whatever. And she goes, and they're just trying to. Now, folks, if you got kids watching, maybe they shouldn't be watching this. So I should have said that. But this is an adult channel. But she's like, I'm not like them where, they're just trying to get as many guys as they can. They don't want to spend more than an hour and boom, they go on and they're out on the street again trying to get the next guy. I'm not like that. I'll stay with you all night and this, that, and the other. And I'll stay with you all night and I'll take care. I said, I'm sure you will. I'm sure you will. I said, but I'm not interested in that. I said, that's not what I came here to Cebu for. I said, I'm not trying. And I said, I don't do that anyway. And I don't know if I had a girlfriend at the time or not. But anyway, I was just like, and that's the other thing too. I don't cheat. I'm going to stay faithful to the person I'm with at the time of dating or whatever. I don't do that. Now, if I'm just in dating mode only, not a committed relationship, I don't have a problem with seeing different people because you're just going out to eat, talking, whatever. But once you cross that threshold and you make a commitment, and especially if there's any physical activities involved in it, then you need to stay faithful to the person you're with. And but anyway, Cebu, oh my goodness, the women from Cebu are and this isn't all of them, okay? But oh my goodness, that place, I'm like, I know I could find love. If I want to find love, it might not be real genuine love, but if I want to find love, I can go to Cebu because there's some desperation over there to get a foreign man. And I'm not, please don't misunderstand, I'm not criticizing Filipino women in Cebu. I'm not. I'm just saying that was been my experience, and it was crazy over there. It was wild. But some people, they meet women in Cebu, and they're the best wives that a man could have. So don't think I'm being indicting all women over in Cebu, because I'm not. Because I'm sure there's some lovely ladies over there and very faithful and this, that, and the other. Let's see, let me catch up here. Yes, Panay. Panay is a most we going for sure. Okay, you're going over to Panay, yeah. Panay, yeah. That's good, Bells, man. Come on over, man. We'll go to S&R and get some real pizza. And or we'll just let Karen make some real pizza. I don't know. But, Karen's, her pizzas are more economical and more realistic for what we should be eating. Not like what my stomach says, and I go to S&R and get the big pizza. I shouldn't be eating that. Karen's are more like, if you ate her pizza, you wouldn't get so fat as if you're eating S&R pizza, that's for sure. And her pizza tastes good, too. Tim Wump's in the house. Hello, hello. Thanks for stopping by. I appreciate it. And thanks for the 8 thumbs up we got. And I appreciate all the people stopping in. For some reason, it's working, whatever you guys are doing. The stream's getting out there. I'm watching up at the top of the screen as I'm talking. People are coming and going and everything. And that's okay. That's good. Some people are sticking around. But yeah, Bellas, come on over, man. Come on over. Happa is in the house. Yo, Colonel, finally caught a stream. Are you tired, Happa? Because if you listen to this, I might help you with your insomnia. Not that you have insomnia, but just listen to my voice. You can sleep. Where are you at now, Happa? You still in Dallas, or are you back on the West Coast, or you still training in? I think you were training in Dallas, but I thought you told me you were finished there. I don't know. For those of you that don't know, my friend Happa there, and I won't put your real name out there, Happa, unless you want to. But this guy is something special too, man. This guy, he's what are you, fourth degree black belt jiu-jitsu or whatever happened? Maybe I shouldn't put your information out there. But this guy, it's like Bella says, man, we want him on our side. We want him for bodyguard services. He got a little video over there on his channel, or wherever I saw that at. Dude, he could barely fit through a doorway. It's a big boy, man, or a big man. I say boy just because, I'm old school Happa. No disrespect meant there. Now, I've had somebody, boy, who you call him boy, man? Ain't a boy. Yeah, okay, whatever, man, with your ego. But somebody calls me a boy, I'll probably say, I ain't a boy, I'm a man. But, I don't really care. Ah, Lowell Matheson, pop back on the internet, saying hello from Oregon. God bless. Thank you, Lowell. I appreciate you every time you come in, man. I saw you over there on Gino's channel too, and always good to see you, man. You're still alive and kicking. Still working on getting over here to the Philippines, right? I hope you haven't given up, my friend. And it happened. Yep, still in Dallas. Okay. I put on your stream on every night so I can help you get the watch hours, brother. Well, Hap, I was talking about that earlier, man. I'm up to, as of the last update on YouTube Studio, and they're like 5 days behind. I'm up to 2571. So I'll be hitting the 3,000 mark soon, folks, because, not because of me, but because of each and every one of you. And I appreciate that so much. Got to give credit where credit's due. The credit is not on me that I'm such a wonderful and eloquent speaker or that I'm so interesting and whatnot. It's not about that at all. But I do appreciate the interest that you all show and that you'll tune into the live stream to hear what I'm rambling on about. I appreciate that. And lately, that's what I've been doing. I've just been rambling on. I haven't even written down a topic or anything. I kind of think about it a little bit, but I just kind of feed off of the other live streams that I'm seeing and the stuff that they're saying because it's too much to type sometimes, and I like to comment about some of the stuff that they have on there and just talk about that. And then you guys feed off of what I'm saying, and it's a great interaction. It's a great dialogue, and I appreciate it. But yeah, Happa, because of your help, Norm's help, everybody else is helping and watching, and even Bellis is helping, James and Karen. I think they're too busy to watch my stuff, and that's okay because they got a lot going on, folks. But yeah, I'm up over 20. I got what 2571, 2,571 hours last time I checked, and I had like almost a 50-hour jump. I've never had one that high, unless maybe I maybe I screw. I don't remember. But I was amazed. I was like, holy smoke, what happened? And it exploded. And I think that, and I appreciate that, and that's great. And because I think as time goes on, if this channel ever becomes monetized and we start becoming fruitful and whatnot, I'm going to come up with something to do to benefit others with the channel. I really, I got, I don't need the extra money, but extra money is always helpful. But like the Bible says, to whom much is given, much is required. So I believe that we need to give back. So I have to figure out how to do that, and it may just be helping one family. It may be helping orphans over here in the Philippines or whatnot. But that's what I would like to do. Based on my history, I need to give back. I don't deserve all the blessings that I've received. Let's just put that out there at first. I don't deserve anything, quite honestly. But if you've watched any of my early videos about my early life story, I've never finished that life story thing. But if you ever watched it early on, yeah, I was in a bad way. Parents abandoned me, and my brother, father abandoned us, and mother was gone already with the two young ones, and we basically were orphans, and we got picked up and sent to foster family and stayed with them for a couple years, and then we got put up for adoption, and we were adopted. Then the blessings started happening because we were adopted by God-fearing folks. My father was an Army chaplain. They were very conservative. It was not an easy life for us. I'm going to tell you, it wasn't easy, but we were blessed. And I believe because of that, I still receive blessings from all that. But I forgot where I was going. I forgot where I was going with that. But yeah, it's just life is different. It'll come back to me where I was going with that, folks. I get off these little rabbit trails and I forget where I was going. Oh, we were talking about monetization and blessings and stuff and giving back. So based on my upbringing or my early life, I feel that I need to give back. I've always wanted to connect myself with an orphanage, and I almost did it in Thailand. There was one, but we never did. We never were able to stop in there, or never. Shouldn't say able. We just never stopped in there to check into it because it seemed like it was always vacant, like there's no activity there or whatever. But I still wish that we had stopped and seen that. But back then, I wasn't as financially stable as I am now. So we'll see. I got to do research, and because I'm not going to just throw money at something that I think is not legitimate or that I think the money's not being used properly or anything like that. But yeah, so with the stuff from the YouTube channel, first I want to be able to pay for the channel itself and pay for all the electronics and stuff that I've invested in up to this point, and I'm still not using to the full extent that I need to. But I'm working on that because I have a lot to learn. And but anyway, I need to give back. And if we ever get monetized, that's what I would like to do. I would like to give back in some small way because I don't expect this channel to go crazy or anything. But who knows? You know, if the Lord blesses, who knows? This channel could explode and go viral. I doubt that. But, you know, it could happen. Maybe. It could happen. And I might change the name. I might change the name from the Colonels Chronicles to something else. And and I'm hoping that, you know, I get a partner. Hopefully it's a female partner. I'm hoping I get a partner and she can help also and be a different dynamic to the live stream and maybe make it not so boring. And so we'll see. And you know, each lady that I dated or whatever, that if I was thinking outside the box and thinking what can they bring to the table as far as YouTube, they each have their own unique thing that they could bring to the table. And the same with this new woman that I'm talking to, that I'm dating right now. She could bring her own element, and I'm not going to say any more about that. But she could bring her own element to the table and to the channel, and I talked to her about it already, and she's like, yeah. I was like, okay, cool, and so we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens with that. You know, I don't mess around in relationships. You know, if I think it's going to work, then I'm 100% all in. If I think it's not going to work, then I don't stick around very long. And because why waste their time? Why waste my time in a situation, in a relationship that I already know is not going to work and it's not going to last? Now, some people have judged me on that, and I know Michael there, Masbate, he had a live stream one time where he was talking about me and how I don't give women a chance and this, that, and the other. You know what? I do give them a chance, but I don't tolerate nonsense, you know? And it's just how I am. I've been through a lot of hurt and a lot of heartache in relationships, and some of them were expensive, you know, and going through a divorce where I forked out probably $250,000 before that was all said and done, you know, I've learned. So some of them can be costly. So anyway, we'll see what happens, and you know, and life goes on. Let me catch up with some of these. The chats are rolling by there, and I gotta get caught up here. Here we go. Yeah. Oh, Hap is still in the house. Yep. Every night without fail. So almost there. Man, Hap, I appreciate that. You and Norm. Oh my goodness. You are the two that I know for certain because you guys tell me. I appreciate that so much. I run Bella's streams on my computer too. That's great, man, because Bella's got some stuff going on. I don't think Bella's got through that hump yet of the monetization. He's fully legitimized as far as meeting all the requirements for the monetization, but you know, he's got some issues and whatnot that are unresolved, and I hope he gets that resolved soon. And because you know, he's got a pretty popular stream, and he goes live. People like to go over there and see what he's going on. You know, he's you know, what's he call it? What do you call it? As a PG-16 or whatever. You know, he's a little more colorful on the language. I don't curse usually on my stream and whatnot because there's just no need to do that. It's a public forum, and I try to keep it where, you know, even if the kids are watching, it's okay, and they're not going to hear anything come out of my mouth that's going to blow them away or anything. But everybody's different, and it's okay. And you know, I just hope that Chuck over there can get that resolved with Google. I don't know why they're harassing him so much with all that, and I think he's got it where it's going to be resolved, and I think eventually he'll get it straight because he's helping a lot of people over there. He's employing a lot of people over there, and in that valley, helping out and whatnot, and generally a good person. You know, he's been a butthead with me a couple times, but you know, that's Bellis. You know, that's just the way he is. And once you realize what you're dealing with, you can act accordingly. Love you, Bellis. Knucklehead. But anyway, I learned one thing. You know, like if you want to keep a secret about something, don't tell Bellis. You know, because it ain't gonna be a secret for long. But you know, if you want somebody to keep a secret, come tell me. I'll keep your secret for you. And he knows because I didn't out him. And Lord, no, I wanted to out him so many times because he ticked me off a few times. And I said, dude, I'm going to out you, you know, because you keep outing me about my relationships, about whatever. And but I never did because I try to be a man of my word. I ain't gonna lie, I wanted to. I wanted to tell y'all about that vanilla. I want to tell y'all a long time ago because I'm just like, whatever, man. And especially the one time when he said that, oh yeah, the Colonel, he wants a piece of this business so bad. He really wants. He says he doesn't, but he really does. No, I don't, man. I don't. But I want to help you. I always wanted to help you. I like helping people, not for my own benefit. Because I don't care. I've been blessed already in life. But I have some knowledge about certain things. I got knowledge about horticulture or I mean, my orchids that I had, just like what his wife does. She's got beautiful orchids too. And when I was in Thailand, I ain't gonna lie to you, I had beautiful orchids. You know what I ought to do is I ought to put together a short that shows all of the close-up photos of the orchids that I had. And I had some double orchids, and I had some that had the large flowers. And for some reason, I just had a knack over there in Thailand for doing real well with the orchids. And there's a couple little secrets to it, and one of them, and I'll just share this because it really doesn't matter. 'Cause I'm not growing orchids right now here in the Philippines because where I live, it's not conducive to it. But I kept my orchids in a coconut husk, okay, and filled up with chopped coconut, much like Bells is doing with his vanilla. And and what I would do in the morning, I go out there and I just saturate that whole thing. I just fill that up, and just let the water run out of the coconut husk, and it was on wires. And I used to hang them under a tree because I felt, and I learned that the orchids do better in the shade than they do in the sun. Lots of times in the full sun and whatnot, even in Thailand, they get burnt. The leaves burn and then they won't grow. But I learned, like, you soak those things in the morning. I mean, just saturate it. But because it's so hot in Thailand and even here in the Philippines, as long as the roots and everything they dry out by the evening time, your orchid type plants are going to thrive. And they just and they did, and they would bloom quicker, because sometimes you can have orchids and they might, like the vanilla, blooms once a year. There's other orchids like that too that might only bloom once a year. Sometimes they won't bloom at all. And I had some like that. I had to try to figure out what. Then I learned, did a little research, and I figured out what I was doing wrong. And I learned that secret. I watered them things every day, let the water run out, and then during the day it just dries up. Now, if it's raining, you don't need to do that. But during the dry season, like right now in the Philippines, we're in the dry season. Yeah, you saturate your orchids and stuff in the morning, and then the root system should dry out by the evening. You're good to go. Because what you don't want is you don't want them to be wet all the time, because then you promote root rot and fungus and things like that. So it's not good. So yeah, I like to help out people. Give. And he doesn't listen to me after time anyway. But I like to tell Bellis the little bit of knowledge that I have and whatnot. Um, but yeah, that's good. Hap, I appreciate that, man. You're helping him out, you're helping me out. All you all that help us out, man. We all appreciate it. Lowell says, I'm not sure if I can get what I need for my house. My lodge brother and friend told me to move there, even if it is for 10 years. When you're talking about move there by the Philippines, Lowell, yeah, honestly, I know you got the financial thing is our realities, okay? So I hear what he's telling you too, and I would like to say that too. Yeah, just do it, man, just do it. But I don't know all your, everything about your finances and whatnot. So you know yourself better than anybody else. So only let people influence you as much as you can handle. So if you think you can handle coming over here, then do it. Don't let anybody like me discourage you from it or anything like that. But don't let somebody encourage you to do something that you know is unwise also. But like I said, even if it's just for a couple of years, maybe you come over here and chill out and relax and maybe eat differently and certain things and just the atmosphere over here, the weather. It's definitely going to be different weather from Oregon. I promise you that. Now, unless you go to Leyte, except it's going to be different. In Leyte, it's going to be just as wet, but it's not going to be hot. I mean, it's not going to be cold. It's not going to be hot. It's going to be hot, but it's not going to be cold. But you're going to have high humidity and everything, just like on the northwest coast and whatnot. But so I would encourage you to do what you feel comfortable doing. Do what you feel the Lord's leading you to do. And just sometimes you have to just jump off the cliff and go for it. Sometimes you got to go for it to get that rush. You jump off a cliff to the cliff diver, you're gonna get a rush. I know anytime I've jumped out off to go into the unknown, it's always been a rush. Okay. Hapa says, how many years do you need to be in the military to receive a pension? Oh wow, what is that? 20 years? Used to be 20 years. I don't know what it is now. I think it's 20 years. Now, yeah, well, it's still 20 years. Now, my dad, he was in for almost 30 years, or he was in for 30 years, and he retired. Appa said, there's that one girl who you have mentioned on a previous stream. She dances and sings pretty good. I think you guys would make a great couple. Yeah, that's this new one, Happa, that I've been talking to. And yeah, I went over there to Facebook, and because she's been very open about everything, and she's about social media, and so I told this is my Facebook, and go look and whatnot. And she has some videos posted up there of her and her sister dancing, and I'm like, wow, okay, they got some moves. They got some moves like Mick Jagger. And she's like, yeah. She goes, well, I was on the, I've been dancing since I was in school, and she goes, I was on the dance team, the dance squad or whatever in school where they performed and whatnot. And I'm like, oh, so you're like, she considers herself like professional, and I would believe it would probably be along from seeing her dance and dance moves. I would venture to say she's more of like a hip hop dancer, and I'm just like, okay, she's not old school dancing. Yeah, she's and very good, very talented. Now I didn't see any of that. I went to visit, went on kind of a date there, and didn't see any of that. But I seen the video, so I was just like, okay. And yeah, they're cute, and her sister too. But I think I better be careful now because they might watch this. I don't want to. I don't want to get anybody upset. So I'll just say, yeah, they're dancers. And then she informed me that yeah, she likes to do karaoke. I haven't heard her sing, so but she said, yeah, she likes to do karaoke. I'm like, well, you're Filipino, You're a Filipino. I know you like to do karaoke. And I told her, I said, yeah, I'll do karaoke too. I did it, James. I said, but trust me, you don't want to replay any of that or hear that again. Once I sing a song, it's one and done, not to be repeated, not to be sung again, and not to be replayed. Because, yeah, I tried that to replay my karaoke, and folks, it it's beyond bad. I mean, it's beyond. And I was there at Bellis's too, and it was worse. And I'm like, I should have stopped when I did it at James and Karen's because I tried to do karaoke there at Bellis because Bellis, the man can sing, and I'm just like, nah, you need to stop. Don't even try to do that anymore, man. It's embarrassing. It's really bad. And I'm surprised that his mic still worked after that, and I didn't break his TV and whatnot. But it was ugly. It wasn't just ugly, it was fugly. And I won't tell you what that means if you don't know, but it was bad. It was bad. But yeah, Hap, I'm hoping good things with this one. We'll see what happens. Who knows? I might scare her away. I don't know. Because I'm a man of principle. And I'm to the point in my life where, and I've said this in other live streams, you either accept me the way I am or you don't. And I'm good, and the same should be for you. I should accept you the way you are or I shouldn't. But sometimes you have to work on some things. I recognize that. But there's basic principles that you shouldn't violate. You don't cheat. You don't lie. Things like that. It's okay to have a secret or two. We don't need to rehash everybody's past and what they've done. There's things I've done I don't ever want to repeat. I don't ever want anyone to know. And that's okay. I don't think that you have to know everything about somebody. But there's some things that you do need to know and you want to know. So, it's a fine line that we walk on sometimes. And but yeah, I believe in being open and honest. And when it comes in a relationship, you have to be. And you have to have good communication. If there's not communication, it won't work. Like if the one person's silent, like I'm a talker, so if I'm doing all the talking and I'm not giving her an opportunity to speak, or I give her an opportunity to speak with a leading question and she won't speak or she doesn't want to communicate, well, for me, that's in the long run, it's not going to work. It's really not going to work. And the young lady there in Leyte that I was fancying there for a little bit, she was very quiet, very not, didn't like to speak, and I'm just like, yeah, that's not. I'm going to get frustrated with that. So then, when you're dating somebody like that, you realize that's what you do. You're okay. This one works, or this one could work. This one, no, this isn't going to work. And if you know it's not going to work, you need to break that off immediately. Don't drag something on that you know isn't going to work because you know what? If they develop feelings or stronger feelings for you, it's going to hurt more later when you break it off. So that's just some of my experience over the years, folks. You can agree or disagree with it. It's all good. Lowell says, I feel the same way with women. There you go, Lowell. I'm glad somebody, I think the same as somebody else. I'm glad, I'm not going to say I'm glad somebody thinks like I do. I'm just saying I'm glad I think like somebody else. Wingley Rebutazo. Hi. Hi to you too. Thanks for coming in. Thanks for stopping by. Give me a thumbs up if you haven't already. Tell me where you're from. There, Wingley. Are you in the Philippines? Are you in America? Are you in Australia? Where are you from? Probably going to be kind of late if you're in the U.S., unless you're on the West Coast. Hapa, okay. Okay. Oh, thank you. TMW. Yeah, TM1. TM's there. Military pension is minimum 20 years, I believe. Yeah, the TM, that's what I thought too. I don't think it's changed. Joe Schmo's in the house. He's waving. Salute. What's that third one? I can't. What in the world is that? Oh, cowboy. Yeah. Yeah, I don't have a cowboy. I used to have a cowboy hat. I used to live in Texas. I've lived in Texas twice. Once as a youngster and then once as a grown man. And I tell you, I had a nice hat. Oh, I don't know what happened to that thing. I think I wore it out. I don't know, but it was a nice felt hat. Texas style cowboy hat. It was the wide brim with just the little curve up and the little slant, It was a goat roper hat, basically. And we called it, they had a big old, we called them goat roper belt buckles and whatnot. And I had one of them when I lived in Texas as a kid and whatnot back in the day, trying to fit in with everybody, you know. But when I got the hat, I'd like to get me a hat again, especially over here, just to keep the sun off. Now, I think it would be hilarious. I'm walking around with a cowboy hat on, be the only one out here in the Philippines with that. Unless I went over to Masbate, they got cowboys over there. And Bellis could put on his straw hat, his straw Wyoming hat. I'll put on my Texas felt hat. Now, I'll be sweating more than he will. But I think that's what happened with that hat. I think I sweated. So I got some powerful sweat, and I think I tore that hat up. But, man, it was beautiful, beautiful hat. And I had it shaped and everything. It was nice. Colonel, I have a secret. Can I share it here? LOL. Yeah, Tim, you want to, you got a secret and you want to share it here? Man, you go for it. I'll keep the secret for you. But I can't promise you that my channel will keep the secret. And I can't promise you that anybody on here will keep the secret. It's all good. I know Bellis won't keep the secret. Nah, I think Bellis will keep some secrets. But he can't help himself sometimes. The brain fog takes over and he forgets where he's at. He forgets that he's live streaming and the whole world's listening. But it's all good. He's still semi my brother from another. I don't know. He's starting to become the bastard brother, I think. And I mean that in a good sense, not in a bad sense. Look, my rice miller, Tom Mosca. How you doing there, Tom? Man, I can't believe you stopped in here because I know you're busy. Hi, Colonel. If I ever have a secret, you'll be the first one I tell him on the Vanilla Project. You'll be the first one I tell. It on the Vanilla Project. I wish them luck with it. Yeah, I mean that's all we can do. I wish them the best. Vanilla it's a tricky animal, a tricky plant. All the research I've done on it and whatnot, they got a long road ahead of them, and but they got time to prepare for it because they're not going to be getting flowers for a while yet. On some of their mature cuttings that he started up, they may get the flowers sooner, 18 months or whatever. But that's if everything goes well. But there's some things, he's learning trial by error. There's some other things that I could tell Bellis or like to, but he's not asking me, so it's all good. I gave my 2 cents before, and whatever. I don't need to do it anymore. Lowell says, I can't do much right here, but I have medical stability here. That is a lot to give up. Their money will be tight, like I mentioned the other day. Yeah, Lowell, I'm not going to encourage you ever to do anything that you don't have the ability to do. And that's with anybody, And like when I was talking to Bellis and stuff and making suggestions and stuff, he can do all of it. So I'm not talking about him doing anything that he couldn't do. I want to see him get the helicopter though, so that if I'm ever invited out there again, I can hop on a helicopter and get out to that farm. I don't want to get bit by that cobra that hissed at me. You know what I'm saying? But honestly, about that cobra too, I think as they spread out and as they stretch out their their vanilla field there, that cobra's going to find a new place to live because they're not going to. The cobras aren't going to want to stick around where all the activity is. Most of the time, they want to stay away from people. But when you go into their habitat and you go into their home, it's their home first. You need to respect that, and I totally respect that. I still want to thank the Lord that I wasn't bit, and Bella says no. He and I talked about it. Yeah, I'm very fortunate I wasn't bit. I'm glad I didn't step on it, and I think that was I was probably real close to stepping on that sucker, and if that had happened, I'd have got bit for sure, and I wouldn't be here talking to you. So thank you, Lord, again for that. God still has a plan for me. I'm still here. Every day we wake up, every day that we wake up, whether you're Christian or not, it's because God has a plan for you being on this earth still, and He's not done with you yet. And you guys can agree, disagree, not believe. That's fine. I'm just putting it out there because that's what I believe. Let's see. I hope it worked out between you two, and if it doesn't, plenty of hot babes around. You lucky, haha. Hey, Happa, come on over, man. Come on over. I'll help you out. And but yeah, I hope it does too, because I always have high hopes about everyone that I meet, and I talk to my friends. They're like, "Oh, you said that before about the last one. Oh, you said that before." And you know what? That's true, because I try to stay positive until I can't be anymore. And we'll see how it goes. This one's very careful, and because like a lot of the women in the Philippines, they've been hurt too, and I think just about everyone that I've dated has been hurt in one form or another. Some more than others, and I even dated one that was hurt by her father, and and it's just, that just disgusts me and makes me want to hurt that individual, because that's just my background where I don't tolerate. That's one of those things I don't tolerate. I don't tolerate abuse of children, and it disgusts me, and I just don't tolerate that at all. I don't really tolerate abuse of anybody, to be honest. Even though I abuse Bellis all the time, verbally. But anyway, yeah, I'm just joking about that. But I don't tolerate it. I don't tolerate any physical abuse of women, children. I got zero tolerance for that. That's part of why I had the job I had. I got zero tolerance for criminal activity. I just won't. I don't want it. I tolerate some of it. I shouldn't say I have zero tolerance, because I do tolerate some of it. Some of that's self-preservation. You got to pick your battle sometimes. That doesn't mean you have to like it, but sometimes you got to be smart about it. Let's see. But thanks, Hap. I appreciate that, man. You're always a man of words of encouragement, and I appreciate it. Joe Schmo, I would have never pegged you as a talker. Yeah, Schmo, I appreciate that, man. I'm glad you recognize that I have trouble talking, and we do these live streams. I appreciate the fact that you realize that I struggle with all this talking, and to be able to be so long-winded, man. Somebody finally recognized my struggle, man. Thank you for that, man. Ah, my goodness, man. See, I got a sense of humor too. Henry Broussard, nice up, Tom. Call Tommy. Yeah. Nice up. I don't know, Henry. You lost me on that one, but I know you're talking about Tom Mosca there. But yeah, my brother's name is Tom. He likes to be called Tommy. He's down there in Alabama. And everybody calls him, "Hey Tommy, hey Tommy." And Norm's back. Welcome back, Norm. But no, I like it when men like Tom Mosca come in here, because Tom is a wealth of knowledge about business in the Philippines, because they've got quite the operation over together. Family Milling Company, I believe, is the name, if I remember it correctly. And he's here on the island of Panay, and he's doing it, and he's not joking around. And his wife is basically in the office of running that operation. She's got a wealth of experience. I think maybe I shouldn't talk about something. I don't know if Tom wants that out there or not, but they met, and they she was in another country working with this rice operation and whatnot, and they come back here to the Philippines, to Panay, and and start up their own operation, and they're doing it. I was impressed. I went out there. I was just like, holy smokes, man! They know what they're doing, and they've got the machinery, and the milling machines, and then they've got the electronics for the color, and he can explain it better than I can. And James and Karen Adventures, they did a video of it, and I was going to, but I just decided not to because my video was garbage compared to what James is doing. But yeah, Tom was explaining it on James's channel and all this stuff. But it's pretty cool, about how they grade the rice and this, that, and the other, and they import also and sell all over the place. And, yeah, it's just that's why I love it when he comes in here because if you got a business question about doing business in the Philippines, Tom's helpful, and I know he and James were able to talk a lot and whatnot. But yeah, even Levi, I doubt you're watching this because you're busy, but you want information about running a business and doing farming type of operation. Now you're doing eggs and stuff, Levi, and Tom does rice. But either way, he's a wealth of knowledge, and he's got a lot of experiences. He's got a lot of people coming in there and stealing his stuff, and police and criminal elements interacting with each other, not always in a positive way. I'm trying to be as euphemistic as possible. I don't want to get kicked off of here. But yeah, it's just Tom is that. Yeah, I was impressed, man. I don't have the knowledge that he has. I wish I did, and I don't have those business experiences like he does, and the business knowledge that his wife does. And you walk in there and you go into their office, and this ain't a mom and pop operation now. This is a full on office with staff and everything. And they were so kind to us, and with the donuts and I'm ex law enforcement, so I like a donut once in a while. It stereotyping myself there, but that didn't help. That made it worse. But anyway, yeah, good people. Let me get my glasses clean. I'll try to get up close here. Yeah, see, look at those sexy blue eyes, crusty old blue eyes, what they are now. Let's see. But that's funny, Joe Schmo. Cracked me up. Look back on that comment. It still makes me laugh. And Tom's still here. Thanks, Tom. My operation is closing. Can no longer get diesel fuel delivered. Plus price is going to 114 to 150 liter. We'll switch back to grid power, even though it's triple the cost of the generators. Wow, Tom. Man, brother, I didn't even think about that. But yeah, with that huge, he's got, folks, if you don't know, if you didn't see James's channel or his video, Tom's got huge diesel generators. I believe he's got two, and one is humongous. The other one's large, but the one is really big, and it's loud. You got to have hearing protection to be around that thing. So it takes a lot of fuel to run those, and he uses that. Correct me if I'm wrong, Tom, but he uses those to operate his dryers and to generate the heat for the dryers and whatnot. And I guess you're using it for the whole operation, Tom. I guess that's a dumb thing. You get your milling machines need power too, duh. And showing my ignorance there a little bit, but yeah. So that's a shame, man. Hopefully the price is going to go back down and it won't stay up for too long. I'm hoping that that we're not going to drag this operation out, this cleaning out of the military of Iran and whatnot. I hope that it doesn't. But that's typical America. We want everything to be done quickly, and we think everything's going to be an overnight, and that's just not reality. You're going up against a whole nother country. It's not going to be a quick thing. But I think we're doing quicker than what was expected by some quote unquote experts. But yeah, that's rough, Tom. And I don't know, man. I mean, it's not, yeah, the price of the fuel is an issue too, but if you can't even get it delivered, yeah, because you're right about you're going to be paying triple for the grid. So it comes down to you're going to spend money either way. But if you don't have access to the fuel, I mean, it doesn't matter what the price is. If you can't get it, I know, Tom, what needs to happen? You got to find oil on your land there. You got to find some oil. Open up your own personal refinery if that was ever possible. No, I'm joking. But yeah, that's rough, man. I didn't even think about that. And with what's going on, yeah, that's going to put a big crimp. So Tom, let me ask you a business question. You don't have to answer if you don't want to, but is that going to cause the price of the rice to go up like everything else? Is that going to affect your importing of the rice and of selling the rice? Are you going to have to transfer those costs? I guess your wife would be the one to talk about all that, but is that cost of the fuel or not being able to get fuel going to be transferred over by rising prices in your rice product? They're talking about each other's refineries now, so I see no future with the price coming down. If I find oil, the USA would invade. That's funny, man. That's funny. At least you got a sense of humor, Tom. That's a sense of humor. That's my kind of sense of humor right there. But yeah, if he finds oil, the U.S. will invade him. That's funny, man. But well, I think as long as you're not promoting any type of evil activity, Tom, maybe they'll let you alone. You can drill for oil and pump oil and refine oil as long as you're not promoting bad actors outside of your activity. I think you won't get invaded, man. I think you'll probably be okay. That's funny. That is funny. It's funny, but not. It's not funny, but it is funny. I guess depending on your perspective. All right, I'm down at the bottom of the screen. Let me take a sip of the coffee. I need another donut, Tom. Yeah, that's cold. That's okay. Tom says, yes, prices are already up, trucking up 25%, ferries also, plus larger increase in freight. Wow, that's going to hurt everybody in the Philippines because, rice is life over here and everybody eats rice. So it's going to, it's going to make it difficult and difficult for people with businesses like yours. How can you stay in business if you can't afford to stay in business? You know what I mean? You might have a nest egg set aside for a rainy day, but that only goes so far too. And when you're out, you're out. But that's something. Wow. Yeah, I feel for you, Tom. That's something. That's a tough nut, man. But as much as they want to go green and whatnot, oil makes the world go round. I'd hate to see, I'd hate to see what kind of solar grid you'd have to set up to get off those generators, and how many years it would take you to recoup the cost that you would have to spend to set that up. I know it's possible, but holy smokes, I hate to see how much volume of land you would lose trying to set up solar panels and whatnot just to power your operation there. I don't have the specifics and the knowledge to even broach that subject. I know anything's doable, but wow. But hey, it's always an alternative. But is it worth it to spend all the money to do the solar to generate the power that you got to generate? And I just don't know, man, if it's worth it to do anything like that. So sometimes shutting down is the only thing to do. But you got so much. When I was there, I don't know what you have now, but when I was there, you had so much rice on hand and so much stock on hand and whatnot to move. But if you can't afford to move it, what are you going to do? But the people the consumer should be, you got to raise the prices, and they're going to be paying for that. They're going to be paying for that shipping based on the cost that they're going to spend. And you're the expert on that. You and your wife are the experts on that. I'm just talking out my backside. I'm just musing about it. I'm not an expert on that type of business. Now we're going to talk about, ladies' underwear and having a shop selling ladies' underwear and lingerie and sleepwear and swimwear. Yeah, that's more up my alley. I can talk. I can seem semi-educated about that. I can talk intelligently about that. That's the word I was looking for. So you got to be intelligent too to come up with the words that you want to use. So sometimes I lack in that area. But anyway, Happa says, how's the new wheels treating you? Well, Happa, I can't drive them yet because I'm still waiting on the LTO to make it legal. And the way it works in the Philippines here is you buy a vehicle, you got to wait until you get a copy of the ORC, the registration. And when you get that copy, then you're allowed to drive it. But before that, you're allowed to drive your vehicle home, and that's pretty much it. It just sits until you get the documents to make it legal to drive. Because if you get stopped by an LTO checkpoint and you're on a for registration only tag, which it just says for registration, you're done. They're going to ask you. They're going to ask you for your receipt, your sales receipt and whatnot, and they're going to look at the date. And they're going to be like, well, this is a month later. Why are you out here? Did it take you a month to drive home from where you bought it? I guess it could, depending where you bought it. But, yeah, I try to be above board on all my activities in the operation. So, um, now I got an automatic, and we'll be putting out a video. And I can drive a stick shift manual transmission, but I bought the automatic because uh, sometimes my arthritis in my knees flares up, and sometimes even riding the motorbike, how I position my leg or my foot, it affects the pain level in the arthritis in my knee. And because I mean, to be honest, I need a knee replacement, but I'm not trying to do that if I don't have to. If I can manage the pain level and whatnot, and if I can still walk, I'm not going to do an invasive surgery like that and have a year recovery time on it. Which, I mean, you'll be up and walking around after knee replacement. You'll be up and walking around right away. But to get a full recovery and they say it's 6 months to a year, usually about a year, to get fully back to normal. And it would be nice not to have that pain. But I just don't know, man. It's a lot of, yeah, it's a lot. There's a lot involved in that, especially with some of my allergies to certain metal alloys. So I have to take that in consideration too. Make sure there's no rejection. If I put artificial knee in there, I got to make sure there's not going to be any rejection to the materials being used. Let me back up here. See, I got to catch up on my chat here. I forget. Uh, okay. Yep. Okay, Tom, I got those. Yep. HAPA. Okay. Okay, there we are. Sorry, folks, I lost my place in the chat. Oh yeah, an automatic transmission would be a lot better, especially for traffic. Yeah, it's this little thing. Just driving it home from the shop I bought it from, I had a blast. I've said that several times, but I had a blast driving this little multi-cab. It's just, especially automatic transmission. It's just give it the accelerator and go. Step on the brake to stop. Don't have to worry about a clutch. Don't have to think about any of that. Don't have to worry about the shift point, the engagement point of the clutch. I know how to drive, and I've driven so many different stick shift vehicles, manual transmission. I know how to do it. I even drove the M151 Jeep in the Army. So if you can drive one of them, you can drive anything. But yeah, so it's just, I can do it. I just decided, hey, if I can get one in automatic, why not? The cost wasn't that much difference. It was negligible between the automatic and so I did it. And as long as it works, I think it's great. But I had a blast driving that, sitting that little man. Like, I said this before, it's like being in this hopped up golf cart, man. I was just like, yeah, this is cool, man. This is kind of cool going down the road. And believe it or not, there's more and more people are seeing the wisdom of getting these little vehicles because they're easy to get in and out of traffic. They're easier. Now they don't go fast. You're not going to win any speed races with it, but they go fast enough. Because by and large, most of the people over here drive slowly, and the roads are more conducive to slower driving. And you get used to the slower. Somebody mentioned this the other day in either my live stream or another one that I was on, and I mean it was this one, and maybe it was you, Happa. You get used to the slower driving over here. So when you start driving a little bit faster, you feel like you're flying, and you're really not. You start computing the kilometers to miles per hour, and you're like, man, I'm only going 50. I'm only going 50 miles an hour. I feel like I'm flying. Whereas if I was in the U.S. and going 50, I'd feel like I was creeping along, like nothing. It's like, come on, let's go. If I'm not doing 70 or 80, I'm not getting anywhere over in the U.S. And that's miles per hour, not kilometers per hour. Over here, 70 or 80 kph, you feel like you're moving, because that's pretty much the top speed that I would cruise on my motorbike is 80 kph. But the problem with that is I'm burning fuel like crazy. I'm not getting the fuel consumption levels that I want to get. But yeah, you're right. It's the automatic's a whole lot better. Norm says you need to find a woman to care for you during recovery. Well, that's it, Norm. Maybe that's the reason why I'm not doing it too. I don't have a woman yet that can take care of me. But no, really, honestly, if I did it, I would probably go back to Bumrungrad Hospital in Bangkok, big international hospital there, because their sports medicine section is top notch. And although sad to say, the doctor that I used to go see there, and who I used to really like to see, he's passed away, and he's the one I wanted to do the surgery if I did it, but he passed away, and he was one of the best. And now his partner has taken all his patients, including me, if I go back there. So I don't know. I think as long as I can, as long as the pain is not unbearable and I can still walk, because there was a time there in Thailand when all this started, I couldn't walk. I mean, and they wheeled me in the hospital in a wheelchair. I was using a walker, but even with that walker, it got to when I got to the day I went to the hospital, I drove there myself and everything, but I had automatic, I had a Toyota Hilux Revo pickup truck. So, but when I got out and I started going down some of the ramps and stuff, I almost doubled over in pain. And one of the nurses that was going into work saw that. She ran in and got a wheelchair and she rescued me and wheeled me in a wheelchair. And I will say that about the Thailand, the good international hospitals. They treat you like a king. They treat you like it's just amazing. Now they're going to charge you for it, or they're going to charge my insurance company for it. But they are amazing how they treat you so well. Now not everybody agrees with that, but for me that was my experience. And but yeah, I got to the point where I couldn't even walk. I'm not at that point again. But hold on one second. There we go. Um, it's either the screen or my glasses. I went and got a new screen protector on my phone yesterday. And I don't know what's going on. Maybe I'm getting cataracts. I hope not. But it was getting cloudy there for a little bit. Okay, now I'm back. So where are we at? Yeah, you need okay. Funny woman. Yeah, Norm, finding a woman. I'm working on it, man. Once again, I think I found one. We'll see. They haven't been. I used to be on this 6 month deal where I dated a girl for about 6 months, and then at the end of 6 months, I would know. But I'm getting to the point now where it might be down to a week or 2 weeks, and I know. It might be after the first date, and I'm just like, nope, nope, that ain't gonna work. Nope, I don't trust her. Nope, never can trust her. Nope, not gonna work. It's just the older you get, you realize what you can put up with and what you can't put up with. You know what's gonna work and what's not gonna work. And it's not all about me sometimes. There's a give and a take sometimes too. It's not about being totally intolerant all the time. Some people think that, oh, you're selfish. No, actually, I'm really not selfish. But I do know what is going to cause problems later on. And is it worth it to have those problems? Is it worth it to rehash the same problem that you had in a different relationship, but with a different person? Is it worth it to go through all that? I don't think so. I really don't think so. All right, let me get back. Yeah, Happa, I don't like getting MRI. I don't either, Happa. I'm claustrophobic. If I got to go in that tube, guess what? It's not happening. Or they're going to have to knock me out. And I tell every doctor that, hey, you want me to go in the MRI? I'm not going in the MRI. You're going to have to knock me out or give me something. And somebody told me that he's the same problem. They gave him some kind of psychotropic drug and it chilled him out enough where he was okay. And I'm like, I don't care, man. It's in my mind. So unless they can block out those thoughts or put me to sleep, nah. Because even if I got my eyes closed, but I could feel the closeness of that tube, if they're putting it, nah. Now, if I can't have my arms outside, now we got a problem. We're gonna have a problem because I know as long as my arms are outside, I can push myself out of that tube. But if they make me put my arms in there, nope, not happening. That's why I don't mess with this one shoulder here. I, yeah, they want an MRI. I'm like, nope, sorry, not doing it. I'm just dealing with it. Bellas, even after all that talking about you still here. I appreciate you, Bellas, giving me some watch hours, man. I really do. You might help get me over the top. Everybody in here that's giving me watch hours, I appreciate it. Bellas is saluting Hapa. I thought you're not going out to the farm today, Bellas. I assume the weather's good. It ain't rain. I hope it ain't raining, man. Didn't you guys just bring in? Are you drying rice now, Bellas? And because I know you don't want it to rain if you're drying rice. So I get concerned about that too down the road a couple years, Bellas, when it comes time for you to dry vanilla. With all the rain you got there, I don't know how you. I hope you have enough time to dry it, or maybe you're gonna have to artificially dry it. That's just something to keep in mind too. See y'all soon. Oh, you're going to Ormoc. That's right. You're just going to town. Off to town to buy welding gas. God bless. Oh, come on now, Bellas. How long you been talking about getting welding, getting argon, and you still haven't bought that, man? Oh my goodness! I tell you all the story about Bellas. He told me because I don't think he told me to keep a secret about this, so I can talk about it. But yeah, he kept telling me, yeah, I can. He goes, yeah, I can weld circles around these guys working on these poles. Yeah, I can do 3 times what they're doing. He goes, but I ain't got the gas. I'm like, why don't you get the gas, man? I said, what's the hold up, man? If you can weld that good and you're that good, why aren't you doing it, man? And you can have all these poles out there and in the ground in the farm. You can be way ahead of yourself. Here he comes on here today. He's just now looking at buying the gas. Well, let me know, Bellis, if you actually get the gas, man, because I know before you're having trouble getting it, or at least that's what you told me. I love digging at him, man, because it's so easy. It's so easy. But I appreciate you, Bellis, man. I wish you hadn't had me on the big screen, though. That's okay. Oh, my goodness. Hap says, see you, Bellis. TM Womp, that helped. I see you better now. I don't know if that's such a good thing, TM, seeing me better. I don't know if that's a good. Might be better if it was hazy and foggy. Oh, my goodness. Norm says, I got to be careful with Bellis. You know, he acts like he's rough and tough, but he got soft feelings sometimes, too. So I shouldn't pick at him so much. But he always said I'm like his big brother, so I guess I'm just trying to fulfill that role still. I spoke to Marissa, but that might be why I wasn't invited there for the big reveal, too, because I irritate him so much. So that might be why he didn't invite me to the big reveal. I thought I was going to be invited, but I wasn't. And yeah, I might be in my feelings about that a little bit, but yeah, it don't really matter. Life goes on. I got so much stuff to do over here with the multi-cab and whatnot, and if I'm real bored, I work on my little cars. And I think I showed this one the other day, and not that it matters. Oh, it fell apart on me because I don't have it locked in. Yeah. Uh-oh. What did I do? Hold on. Bear with me, folks. There we go. Yeah, that's my newest one I'm working on. my little toy car I'm working on. And I'm a multifaceted man. Or as my friend Ronnie, hey, Doug, I'm an international man. So I moved to Thailand, and I told him, well, Ronnie, where are you living? You're living in South Carolina or Augusta, Georgia, that area? Guess what? Who's the international man now? I'm the international man because I'm doing it, dude. I'm living. I ain't just visiting. I'm living in a foreign country. When I was living in Thailand, I used to dog him out about that. I used to tease him. I said, I'm the international man. And now I'm in the Philippines. So I'm, 2 times international man, 3 times because I lived in Germany as a kid. So anyway, yeah, I used to tease Ronnie about that. But it's all good. Let's see. Norm says, I spoke to Marissa for a month before I knew she was the one. That's the way, Norm, you got to take the time. And she, this, I'm going to call her girl because I call all women girls. But I talked to this girl and about that kind of stuff. And she's telling me some of her faults about relationships and stuff. And I'm telling her I totally get it. And I'm kind of the same way a little bit. And so I have to remind you, got to take time. Got to take the time and whatnot. But, by the time you reach my age, now not all guys my age, but you should be by the time you reach my age, you kind of know where you're at in life. And you kind of know where you're at as far as relationships. Now, a lot of guys that come over here to the Philippines and something happens in their brain, man, there's like a disconnect, and they revert back to when they were teenagers. And they think that they're a teenager again because they just go home. They just see all these beautiful women. Because I'm not going to lie to you. Thailand, too. And here, there's beautiful, especially for me now, here in the Philippines, there's just beautiful girls everywhere. And I have one friend, or a quasi-friend, where he thinks every girl wants to talk to him. So he goes up and talks to every girl. He don't even know him. Just out of the blue, go up and talk to him. Hey, how you doing? My name's what? Quagmire. And I was just like, man, dude, come on, man. Are you kidding? That girl didn't want to talk to you. Well, you don't know that till you ask her. Well, okay, you're right. However, not every girl wants to talk to every man. It's just a fact of life. He don't care. But anyway, I'm not like that. I just never. I'm more shy along those lines. But yeah, so you got to take your time. You got to get to know folks, and at least you took a month, Norm. Some guys only take a day. Yeah. I mean, some guys only take a day, and they're in the sack already. And it's like, dude, really? Come on, man. You don't know anything about this girl, and she doesn't know anything about you. But I just think that's bad business. Just to start out relationships like that, it's just not smart. But that's my experience because I've made a lot of mistakes. I'm not going to lie. I made a lot of mistakes. And the sad part about it is I knew I was making it, but I did it anyway. Oh, well. Happa says, yeah, they had to show me into one and I barely fit. I couldn't squirm out if I tried. Now, Happa, I tell you what, my multi-cab, that front seat has a lot of room. Um, what are you, 6'2", 6'4"? I can't remember. You're up there. Um, I think I think you could fit in it with the seat all the way back and mine because I had a van, so the seat can go back. Um, but even the ones where the seat don't go back, there's still quite a bit of room. But you're a big boy, so. But I think in the van you could fit in there. I think you could. It might be a little bit tight on the legs. I ain't gonna lie. Might be a little bit tight. But mine, I'm impressed with how much room it is, especially with my fat gut. I still got plenty of room between my fat stomach and the steering wheel. I'm assuming that's what you're talking about. Um, but hey, I remember driving the little Porsche Boxster that I had. I used to fall into that, and then I used to have to I would have to crawl out of it, because it was so low to the ground. It was a challenge for me, even though I'm just a little short guy. But it was a challenge getting in and out of that. I would I would pop the steering wheel all the way up and try to climb out of that thing, and then check all my joints and everything. But it was a blast to drive. I ain't gonna lie to you. Wrap around seat and it was a blast to drive. But I always felt like when I was getting in, I had to like crouch over and and then I would just kind of let myself fall into the seat and hope that the wheels didn't fall off and my fat body hit the seat. But it was still fun to drive. I ain't gonna lie about that. See, Norm says, "See you, Bellas." All right. Tom's still here. Internet died here for some reason. That's weird, Tom. I'm assuming I'm still going. I haven't got down to those chats. Did I lose the stream? I hope not. Um, but I appreciate you being here, Tom. I know you're a busy man. You got so much going on there. I don't know how you even have time to think, but I appreciate you coming in, man. I appreciate the stuff that you have to say. And that goes with anybody. Almost everybody. I appreciate everything that you say. You get the trolls in here sometimes, and it's not that great, but that's okay. Happa says, "Hope I find my future wife soon. Talk to a girl who is a flight attendant, but she's currently living with another male flight attendant. She says he's barely home, but my girl is telling me nope." And I'm like, Happa, if I hear somebody just say that, I'm gonna look at you. First thing I'm out is gonna be like, nope, run away, run away. And yeah, no, nah, dude. It's like, oh, my roommate, and then you find it's a male roommate. No, could it be platonic, and could it? Yeah, it could, but that just seems strange to me. And I think unless the guy is likes a different flavor, unless he likes guys, he gonna try that sooner or later. I hate to be. I mean, it's just being human nature. He's gonna try that sooner or later. And who knows? She might want to try it too. I don't know. I don't know. So it's unfair for me to judge them. But it's just human nature. Things happen, and you're living under the same roof. That's questionable. I would be like, nope, just like she said, nope. And oh, you said your gut is telling you. No, I read that wrong. Yeah, sometimes you gotta listen to your gut. You really do. It may not be scientific, but sometimes you gotta listen to it. And, where's my buddy HD, Mr. Statman? Where's the stats on that, Colonel? You don't have stats for that, so you're just talking. Oh, HD, man, I love it. He had me going. Tom says, check out Fridays, now open at SM. Their hamburger is great. Hold on a second, Tom. The SM City in Iloilo, or are you talking about Rojas City? I don't know there's TGI Fridays open at SM already. I didn't see that. I was just there yesterday. Help me out, Tom. Is that Rojas City or is that SM City here in Iloilo? Or the SM in Rojas City? Bruce and Carol are in the house. Cool, Colonel. Awesome. I don't know which part you're talking about, Bruce, but that's okay, man. I appreciate you stopping in and hanging out on the channel. I appreciate that. Happa says, "Oh, I was talking about squeezing the MRI machine." Oh, okay. I thought you were talking about the multi-cab. My bad. Yeah, we were talking about MRIs. Yeah, dude. Yeah, I seen that video of you because you're a big man, and I'm like, yeah, I could see. Yeah, I don't know. I don't. If you put your arms down, I don't think you could fit in there, man. Wow. Yeah, they do make in the U.S. They make MRI machines that are the big hoops now, the big loops. They don't have the tube. It's a big loop. And I'm like, I'll do an MRI like that, but I don't believe they have any like that here in the Philippines. Now I think it's the Doctors Hospital in Manila. They've got the Siemens machine, the MRI machine that's a bigger tube, but you're still going in a tube. And I think maybe if the tube's big enough, maybe I could handle it. But the old school MRI machine, oh no, man, no, it ain't. I've done it, and I don't ever want to do it again. Nope. But thanks, Javi. I got off track. I talk about so many different things, I lose track of what I'm talking about. Hapa says, what was your first car, Tom? Hapa and Norm, what were your first cars, guys? Now, I tell you what my first car was. Actually, you know what? Let me go get it. I have a sample or an example of my very first car, and y'all are gonna laugh because I rolled this sucker over, and then I bought another one where the motor had caught on fire, and I rebuilt it, and using the body of the one that burned, but the motor from my one that I rolled over, and because the motor in the one I bought for $50 American dollars, it caught fire, and but anyway, so the arthritis. Oh, I've been sitting too long. Arthritis in the hips is flaring up there, folks. Sorry about that jumpy walking. But the Colonel's first car, Happa. There it is. That was the Colonel's first car. Yep, yep. Volkswagen Bug. And it was the same, it was the white, same color as this, everything. This is I believe the same year, the same model as my Volkswagen, my little Bug that I had. And I drove that thing everywhere until I flipped it over one day. I bought it for $600. I bought it from my cousin and her husband. And but yeah, Volkswagen Bug. That was the Colonel's first car. I had a blast. And then my second one was primer red because I never had it painted. I just had it primed. And I drove that sucker everywhere too. These little, I I I abhor the idea of Adolf Hitler and whatnot in that regime. But I tell you what, when they commissioned, what was it, Porsche to make this Volkswagen, and when they commissioned to make this car, you can't deny the fact that they were onto something good. Oh wow, this thing has I didn't know this thing has a little motor in it. Check that out. But I mean I don't play with this, I just display it. But I just realized it's got a little wind up motor in it. But anyway, yeah, when the Germans when they built this Volkswagen, man, the people's car. Yeah, I mean, look, they're still on the road. I mean, a lot of them still on the road. I'd love to have one now and fix it up, modernize it. But I had a blast with that car. Tom Mosca, 1070 Cougar, or is that 1970 Cougar, XR7 convertible with 428 4-speed. Man, Tom, you just had to make us all jealous, didn't you? That's a nice car, man. Real nice car. Actually, my cousin my cousin, her husband that I bought this Volkswagen from, her husband, he had a Cougar. They had a Cougar. I don't remember what year it was, but it was a nice car. Tom Mosca and Iloilo, also new Italian restaurant. Yeah, but did they open? You said they opened them for sure. So that's over in South Point, right? I believe that was where they were building them because there's supposed to be a Texas Roadhouse eventually, and there's going to be a Chili's. So yeah, I didn't want to. I had heard that they were gonna open, but then I forgot about it because I told myself I don't want to go there the first weekend that they open because it's going to be jam packed full of people. But you know what? I might go over there today and check it out because my daughter used to be a server. We say waitress, but server, staff, or whatever, waitress at TGI Fridays. And I'll never forget the one night where, and I probably shouldn't tell this story because it makes TGI Friday look bad, but I'm gonna tell it anyway. She called me up in tears. I was in Thailand. Was I in Thailand? No. Wait, was I in Thailand? No, I was still in Florida. She called me up in tears because uh, this a customer had grabbed her butt, and he wasn't a white dude, okay? So grabbed her butt, and doesn't matter what color skin they were, but it just so happened to be this one guy, and she was livid, and she was in tears, and I said, you know, do I need to come over there and take care of somebody? That's not what I said, but I said something else, but I can't say it on here, and because you know I'm protecting my daughters, and she's like, no, no, Dad. I said, well, did the manager even did you tell the manager? She's like, yeah. And I said, well, did the manager do anything about it? Did they say anything to the customer? Because you know, this ain't Hooters. You know, TGI Fridays ain't Hooters, and even Hooters shouldn't be having. You don't be, you know, don't be grabbing their butts of the serving staff. And you know, you gotta understand. Back then, my daughter, she's you know, she's very well endowed in the upper body area, if you know what I'm saying. But she was very well endowed, but very thin back then. She's not anymore. God love her, but she had 4 kids. She ain't thin no more. But she was super thin back then, and very well, very large chest, you know, and it's just, you know, what can I say? But yeah, she was upset. And then she's, no, the manager didn't do it. I said, are you kidding me? I said, I'm coming over there. I said, I'm hopping in my car and I'm coming over there. And no, 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 don't. You don't have to do that, Dad. She goes, I just wanted to talk to you now. I understand some of the stuff that you were telling me before when I was in high school about certain people. And I said, well, you know, that was because I deal with the criminal element now. You know, I said, you can't judge everything. You can't judge everybody on what I was telling you. I said, but I just didn't want you involving yourself in bad situations. I didn't want you getting pregnant and whatnot, and then having somebody run off. And I said, it doesn't really matter. But she goes, oh, no, no. I said, but yeah, I was upset. I was hot, you know, because I don't care if you're a waitress or not, and I don't care how sexy your body is or good looking. You shouldn't be being sexually or physically assaulted in a restaurant by a customer. Give me a break. You know, and the manager should have said something, made that customer leave. Or, if you want to step further, because I'm a dad, you know, I'd have called the police. Hey, get the police in here, arrest this sucker, you know, for grabbing my daughter inappropriately. Sexual harassment. But anyway, none of that happened. I don't know why I even told that story, but anyway. So I'm going to check that out, Tom. Oh my goodness, he heard me talking about him. Oh my God, Ronnie Mall, dadgummit. Oh my God, Ronnie, I didn't think you ever watched YouTube, man. Oh my goodness, I've been talking smack about you this whole live stream, man. Oh my goodness, I talked about the other one too. Did you hear any of what I was saying? I was imitating. Yeah, Doug. I even the other day, Ron, I even talked about. Oh man, I talked about you buying that charger, or when we used to look at chargers up there in Hinesville. You see, you got me talking like that now. But yeah, that's folks there, Ronnie Malden 130. That's my old brother right there, man. My brother from another. And yeah, we were up to no good back then, and a lot of stuff I learned about relationships and about some of these. Well, I gotta be careful what I say, but Ronnie's happily married now, so I gotta keep everything on the down low. But man, I learned a lot from that dude, and we were lieutenants together. And he was one of, I'll be honest with you, he was one of out of all the lieutenants I ever worked for or worked around, he was the one that I respected the most. Even though when I was just a senior officer specialist, I tell you what, I did something that irritated him. I never seen a lieutenant lose it and like throw something across their office. But he lost it with me. He lost it with me. He was so mad. And rightly so. What I did was kind of crappy, what I did to him. But I didn't realize it until after I became a lieutenant. Then I realized how crappy it was what I did, because he had to stay late. He had to stay not getting paid. We didn't get paid for that back in the day. And but yeah, man, that's my good buddy, my brother from another, Ronnie Malden. What a good dude, man. I hope you're doing well, Ronnie. Hope your health is doing well. I hate to ask you what you're driving. Now, this dude, man, he every month he has a different vehicle. I'm exaggerating, but yeah, that's my brother Ronnie Malden over there in where are you, South Carolina, Augusta area, Georgia. I can't remember. South Carolina, I think he's at. God bless you, Ronnie. Man, I appreciate you stopping in too, man. That's great. I gotta be careful what I say, but I don't know who's lurking in the background. And I'll be talking about somebody, and they'll come on. Man, what are you saying about me? Man, when do I see you next time? But come on over and visit me, Ron Dog. Come visit me over here in the Philippines, man. TN. Happy you didn't ask me, but my first car was a new 1970 Chevy Camaro. Man, I'd love to have that thing too. Yeah, yeah. Ronnie was into Mustangs back in the day. And he even had, well, he had an orange Mustang one time. Ugliest car I ever seen, but he loved it. And but yeah, he was into Mustangs. Now he's into the Chargers and Challengers and was it? Wait, Challenger is what Ronnie had, I think, not a Charger. He didn't have the Charger. He had the Challenger, and that's what we were looking at. Were Challengers. But yeah, I could do a whole live stream just talking about Ronnie and some of the experiences that we had and some of the stuff we did. But probably best if I don't do that because I'd be telling on myself too much. I'd definitely be telling on him too, and I don't want to get the man in trouble because I got utmost respect for Ronnie. And yeah, Happa says, "Dang Tom, that is a beautiful machine. You too, TM Womp. Old school muscle cars are the best, aren't they? Aren't they?" Man, I had that 1980 Camaro that I was trying to fix up, and it kind of got swindled out from underneath me. But I really would have loved to have an older Camaro than that. Even though I got that because it took me back to my high school days. Because my buddy in high school used to pick me up in his what he had a 1981 Camaro Berlinetta that his dad bought him because he's a rich kid. And I doubt he's watching this. But Chip, if you're watching this, oh well, dude, it is what it is. But I loved it every day you picking me up, and because I always did my senior year, I was doing a half a day of school, and it was great because he would take and drop me off at work where I was cooking at. I cooked at an Italian American restaurant. Anyway, let's see. Ronnie's still here. Good. I appreciate that, Ronnie. Keep commenting, man. My first car was a 1963 Chevy Impala. Oh my goodness, he had a tank. Was it a two-door, Ron? Was it a two-door Impala or was it a four-door? Because the two doors, you could do something with them. The four doors looked like a family vehicle because one of my roommates in college, he had one. He had the big old Impala, but it was it was Impala or Caprice? It might have been a Caprice, but it was a four-door. Man, it was a tank. It was a tank. I think I'm getting them mixed up. But Impala, it's a Chevy Impala, nice vehicle too, back in the day. A 63? Yeah, for sure. I always wanted a Chevy Nova Deuce, the Nova 2. Some people say we're going to call it Nova Deuce. That's what I always wanted. And never did get one, but I always wanted one. Because my friend Jeff Jones in high school, good friend, he's since passed away, and that's a shame. He's mine and my brother's, I mentioned him the other day, mine and my brother's best friend in high school. He looked out for us because he knew what we were up against with my parents being as strict as they were, and he used to help us out. And actually, we were up to no good, but he was a brother, and he was definitely a brother from another color. But he looked out for us, and he had that Nova Duke, and man, we had a blast in that car. And yeah, God love him. I believe he's in heaven. I really do now. Back one day I would have said no, but I believe he's in heaven. Norm says, my first car was a soft top Suzuki Sierra 4-wheel drive. Man, Norm, you guys get a picture. Well, maybe I'll try to look that up. I got to remember. I want to look that up. Because Norm's down there in Australia, Ronnie. I got several guys on here that are from Australia, so they're going to come up with some off-the-wall cars that you and I aren't used to. TM1 says, thanks, Happa. I liked it. Only had a 327 in it. That's all right. Those vehicles were light enough, it didn't matter. Happa says, nice, Norm. I want to check that out, Norm. I got a Suzuki Sierra 4-wheel drive. I got to check that out. All right. TM1 said, my second car was a Cutlass Hurst Olds with oh my goodness, it had a 454 in it. 454 engine and first production T-tops. Yeah, I used to I used to stand at a bus stop when I was in high school, and there was a car that was under wraps. It was there for years. It was a 442. Man, I wanted that car so bad. But those people, that they would never sell it. It was just sitting there rotting away. But I, man, I would love to have that car with the motor, that 442. Man, I wanted that so bad. But I don't know. Who knows if those people are still living or if they're there? That car might still be sitting there. I don't know. But it's like evidently some people they try to buy it, but nobody they would never sell it. And but yeah, because my friend even Jeff Jones, we wanted that car, and we wanted to fix that up and hot rod it out. Man, it would have been a beast, but never happened. Tom says, was there Friday? Okay, was it crowded, Tom, when you were there? Was there a line to get in? Ah, Chappie's in the house. Evening, Colonel. Good to see you, Chappie. Thanks for stopping in. Wow, look at that. 18 thumbs up, 10 people in the house still. Man, I appreciate y'all. Appreciate all the viewers coming in, helping me out, getting me that much closer to monetization, and that'll be a good thing because I want to be able to, yeah, I want to be able to help some people. I need to help myself too, pay for all this stuff, honestly, first, but then I want to be able to help out people. That are less fortunate than I am, because I've been very blessed. I ain't rich by any means. Don't I mean if you see around my house, you know I'm not rich, but I've been blessed more than some people, and you know, like I said earlier, to whom much is given, much is required, and Tom knows that too. He knows that principle. Haba says, what caused those long lines at the gas stations in the 70s? Saw some video clips of it and how some areas would go by the last numbers on their license plates. Yeah, that was back in the 70s, happened the oil shortage, you know, back when, what was it, Carter was that idiot. Carter was president. I'm sorry, folks, if you liked Carter, but I'm sorry, Carter was an idiot as a president. And not much better after his presidency, in my opinion, but we don't talk about politics here too much. And but yeah, it was the oil crisis, the shortage, you know, and that's, who caused that, Hapa? What country? Iran, you know, and other. I mean, there were other things going on there too. I shouldn't just say, but you know, they took Iran back in the day. They took hostages, you know, Beirut, the whole nonsense. I can't remember all the details, but I mean, they've been at it since way back then. You know, nobody had the guts to bomb the heck out of them like we're doing now. And you can feel however you want about what Trump decided to do and whatnot. You can feel any way you want, but it's no surprise to me. He's been talking about Iran since he was a young fella, and a young man. He's been talking about it, so it shouldn't be any surprise to anybody that he did this. And those that act all surprised, oh, I can't believe it. What are you talking? Do you not know his history, the stuff that he used to? I mean, honestly. This is what's funny too, and cracks me up. Donald Trump used to be a Democrat, and he used to support Democrat candidates and whatnot. You know, and look at him now. You know, it just shows people do change. They change in politics and whatnot. And but you know, he's say what they want, but he's pretty much a moderate. He's a moderate. He's not a conservative. He can say he's a conservative. He's not a conservative. He's a moderate. He's conservative about certain things. But overall, politically, I would have always said Donald Trump was a moderate. He was a Democrat before. But anyway, not supposed to be talking about politics on here. TM1, Arab oil embargo when the U.S. imported 80% of its oil. Yep. I never could understand that either because I lived in Texas as a kid and I lived as an adult. But I remember driving through Texas and whatnot and seeing all the oil wells that were capped or the oil, they were not moving. And I was just like, why? What? They got all this oil there, but they're not bringing it up out of the ground. To keep the prices up. Don't get it twisted. You know, the oil business is to make money. And that's what they're doing. But whether it's to make money or not, it doesn't matter. We all use it. We all use petroleum-based products. It is. I get a kick out of some of these people, you know, and they're, we're doing soy, and they hate oil or we're going to do this, you know. But they're using plastic bags, you know, or which I'm not against all that. I'm just saying, it cracks me up. It's like the PETA people, you know. They're against the cruelty. I'm against cruelty to animals too, but I don't have a problem offering something and eating it. I don't have a problem with that. But it cracks me up. I'm like, well, do you buy these products? Do you use this? Do you use that? How did you get here? You know, it gets oil when I did you drive in a car? Yeah, but it was electric. Okay, but the rubber and are you driving on metal wheels or are you driving on rubber tires? I is there plastic in your vehicle? Is there plastic in your electric vehicle or is it all steel? Yeah, it's just stuff like that. To me, it's just not. It just people. It just cracks me up. Look at the big. It's not. We all have our little pet peeves and our little pet project, myself included. There's things that just irritate me, or things I'm against. And sometimes even myself become narrow-minded about it, and we're so focused on what we're focusing on, we're not seeing the rest of the big picture, and how everything is affected maybe by the thing that we hate, and we're using the thing that we hate. We're still utilizing it, even though we're talking against it, this, that, and here we're double talking. We're talking out both sides of our mouth because we're using products that are made by the same thing. But anyway, don't get me off on that. Yeah, that's a whole nother rabbit trail. Yeah, the oil embargo. I forgot about that. Okay, thanks, Tim Want from Hapa. Ronnie's still here. I love you, brother. Yeah, Ronnie. Dude, man, it goes deep. We're brothers. We're brothers from way back, and it goes deep. Ron, I think I've told a story in one of my videos or streams too, where, he helped me out in a time when I was low, man. My house caught on fire, and I lost a lot of stuff. And even if it wasn't burnt, the soot damage and whatnot, and he was there to help me out, and he let me move into his house. I know he was tired of me and wanted me out of there. He would never tell me that, but I know he did. And we were like roommates. But fortunately, he had a fairly large house, and I was way on the other side. But I know I didn't clean that bathroom as much as he wanted me to. I'm sorry for that, Ron Dog, but that's a true brother right there. He looked out for me, and we didn't always see eye to eye on stuff. And back in the day, I'd have called him Quagmire too, like I do my friend Mark here. But God bless you, Ronnie. I appreciate that, man. Yeah, always near and dear to my heart, my brother. Tell them when you had a first date in your 1980 Camaro, and the girl would not go out with you again. I don't remember that, man. I do remember going down the road in that Camaro and having the drive shaft dropped out of it when I was doing about 60. Yeah, I thought I got hit. I thought I got hit by an IED or something, man. That scared me. And then I remember getting on a motorcycle and strapping that with bungee cord, strapping that drive shaft to my back so I could get it to the house or whatever. Yeah, it was crazy. And I still don't know why I did that. For some reason I had to do that. I don't know. I don't know why I didn't just stick it in the Camaro. I did because I didn't want to leave it. I don't know. But that's messed up, Ron, man. I don't remember that. And the girl, I don't remember that, man. That's okay, Ronnie. You want me to start talking about some of your... Yeah, I don't want to get you in trouble, brother. I know you. I know your wife's sitting there, probably listening to this. I don't want to get you in trouble, man. See this. See. You let me know, Ron. Can I say a little bit about you and your relationships or not? I don't want to out you, man. But I learned a lot from Ronnie. And Ron, like I said, is this lovely lady I'm talking to now. She's 25, brother. Okay? I know that means something to you. But and that's all I'm going to say enough right now, unless you give me permission to talk about you more. The 63 Impala was a two-door, white, nice, not ragged out. Yeah, and hey, Ron, didn't you had a Roadrunner back in the day, if I recall, that you rebuilt? Yeah, Ronnie had a Roadrunner. Nice car, man. Yeah. Tom says, second vehicle. You could list all the cars you have, Ron. I think they would be interested in knowing all the different vehicles you had over the years, because you've had quite a few. But I don't think you ever had a Porsche, man. I one-upped you on that one when I got that Porsche. But you're into American muscle. I wasn't so worried about that, Because for me, a nice sports car is a nice sports car. And that Porsche, I drove that Porsche like I stole it. And I don't know if you remember the time I was telling you about Eddie, Paul Barnard. when I let him drive that Porsche, and then he wouldn't let me take back over. He wouldn't pull over and get out of the driver's seat. Nah. Let me drive it a little bit more. Let me drive it a little bit more. I'm like, because the girls we were driving by, and the girls were looking at him, And he's a married man, and I hope Letha doesn't see this, but yeah, the girls were looking at him. He was soaking that in, man, getting the attention from the girls when we were driving by it, because we had the top down on the Porsche. But yeah, that was funny. But yeah, list your vehicles, Ron, because I know you've had a plethora of vehicles, my brother. And okay, Tom said, second vehicle I bought in 1971 was a 352 Peterbilt. I can't even read Peterbilt. That's down like Bellis. Peterbilt, COE with 318 Detroit, 13-speed hauling, blue jeans from Opelika, Alabama to L.A. Port. Only way to earn money in South Alabama. I didn't know you was down there in South Alabama, Tom. Man, you and my brother get along. That's very cool. Ronnie says, Hearst Olds were nice. Yeah, they were. I'm trying to picture in my mind. I'm pretty sure I know. Yeah. Happa says, 13-speed transmission sounds crazy to operate, Tom. Yeah. Was that, did they have a Transax and all that, Tom? I don't know. I don't know much about them. Norm says, the Jimny copied the Sierra. Okay, that's what I thought. It was a little 4x4. Okay. But I didn't want to say anything because I didn't know until I looked it up, Norm. But I know what you're talking about now. Yeah, I would love to have one of them now. That would be cool. They were sold in the States, but under a different name. Okay. Forget what we called them in the U.S. Chappie says, how's it going, Colonel? That's going pretty good, Chappie. I'm doing well. I've been talking to a new young lady that I finally met in person yesterday, and that went well, and went very well. I'm very pleased about her. Still smiling about her. Yeah, it's a good girl, and we'll see what happens with that. But I'm doing all right, man. Doing all right. Thanks for asking, Chappie. Tom says, no line, but a good crowd. He's talking about TGI Fridays over here at SM City, Iloilo, and but the food was great. About time for a decent hamburger in Iloilo. Well, I tell you what, Tom. Some people disagree with me on this, but I like the American Backyard. I like their hamburgers. Now I talked to somebody the other day. They don't. But I went in there, and both times I like their burgers. You could actually taste the ground beef instead of all the other onion and spice. It was good, but that's just me. But I like TGI Fridays has other stuff that I like to eat too, and yeah, for a change of pace, I would go there. And if there's no line, that's good to know too. Maybe because of first, I was thinking because it first opened it'd be a line, but maybe it's not. And the Filipino people here haven't caught on to TGI Fridays yet. Once they catch on, then maybe it'll be more crowded on the weekends. But what's today? Monday? I might go in there today and check it out, just to see how it's going. Because their menu, there's a lot on their menu that I can eat. Now you're going to spend a little bit of money, but I like it. Ronnie says, let it pass. Okay, Ron Dog. Brother. Yeah, okay, man. I respect you, man. And because I respect you, I won't go there, man. But I learned a lot from you, man. Ronnie, I got to tell you this. I don't know if you were on here then, but I told a story about how you always told me, Doug, I'm an international man. I used to crack me up, man. I'm an international man. And I was telling the people that now, you're not the international man anymore. I'm the international man because I'm actually living the dream. I'm living over here in Southeast Asia, first Thailand and now here in the Philippines. And I'm enjoying it, man. I really do. But I tell you what, Ronnie, I ain't gonna lie to you. I miss you, man. I really do. I miss the times we hung out. And remember the time I told you when we saw that one fat dude and I said, if my stomach ever gets like that, just take me off the count. I'm there, brother, so stay away from me because I don't want you taking me off the count because my stomach looks like him. And it irritates me to no end, but I've tried to lose weight and I've lost some and then gained it back and whatnot. And it is what it is, man. It is what it is. But yeah, I miss you, Ronnie. I really do. But yeah, I try not to dwell on it. But Ronnie is a good friend of mine, folks. Really good friend of the Colonel. 1972 Roadrunner. Yep. Yeah, Ronnie, he used to talk about that. And I think, didn't you correct me if I'm wrong, but didn't you say you and your dad worked on that together, or were rebuilding that together a little bit? Oh, what happened there? I lost you all for a second. Norm says it was called the Suzuki Samurai in the state. Yeah, Suzuki Samurai. And then my daughter, my oldest daughter, she got the little Geo vehicle that copied that. You know, the little four wheel. And I remember driving that one time. I felt like I was like, whoa, I'm gonna tip it over. You know, this little four wheel drive. Yeah, she had that Geo. Was it Geo Metro? No, it wasn't called Geo Metro. That was the little sedan. It's called the Geo. Oh, the Geo Tracker is what my daughter had. Cute little vehicle. And you know what? She drove that for. She might still have that. And I mean, she drove that for years. I remember, you know, I was over in Thailand. She was, I still have it, Dad. I still drive it. That's a good little vehicle. And then she was telling me, Justin, her husband, he had to replace something. They replaced whatever. She goes, no, we still drive that. And so, you know, those Geos. So that actually turns out that was a good vehicle. I wouldn't have thought little Geo Tracker. I was going piece of junk was going to rust out. This that. But no, my daughter drove that. She might still be driving that. I don't know. But yeah, Suzuki Samurai. I remember that. Oh, Panay Hart. Jackie, Panay Hart, thanks for coming in. I appreciate you. I've been watching your short videos and stuff. They pop up all the time on my streams that come in. And good to see you, Panay Hart. Thank you for joining me. I appreciate that. Oh my goodness. I've been smacking my gums for over 2 hours already. But I think part of that is because Ronnie came in, and Ronnie Malden, my good friend and brother. He sparked so many good memories that I have, and so many good times. I was even telling him, Ronnie, about how I used to be talking to you, so I knew of sleep apnea. I used to be talking to you in the car mid-sentence, and I'd fall asleep mid-sentence. He never said a thing to me, but I'd say, did I fall asleep? And he'd be like, yeah. And I'm like, was I talking? Yeah. I was just like, oh man, it was embarrassing, but and sometimes, I ain't gonna lie to you, Ronnie be telling me a story, hey, dude, you know, he'd be in that southern draw, and he put me to sleep. It wasn't because he wasn't interested, it's just the sleep apnea. You know, if I closed my eyes, I was gone. And it's embarrassing. I know he knew I was sleeping while he was talking. It's embarrassing, folks. And I can tell him now, but anyway. Yeah, Geo Tracker collector car now. Really, Ronnie, I didn't know that. My daughter I don't know if she still has it or not. She might still be driving that thing. But yeah, she had one. She bought it when she was in high school with money that she earned. Because I didn't buy vehicles for my kids. I made them buy their own. And now that's a daughter too that got my truck T-boned. And yeah, I was upset about that. But she was driving somewhere where I told her not to drive, and she was pulling out of a place I told her not to ever go and pull out of because I knew it was difficult. She did it. And at one time, I let my kids borrow my vehicle. I never let them borrow my truck. Never. But this one time I did because, you know, of course, her mom's harassing me. Like, oh, why don't you just let her do it? Just let her do it. You're not going to, you know, what's your problem? Because I know better. I know kids in vehicles, teenagers in vehicles. But I succumbed to the pressure of my wife at the time, which, you know, another reason why she's my ex-wife, because she tried to control everything. And I paid the price. And then when I was upset at my daughter being in an accident because she was somewhere where she wasn't supposed, where she was forbidden to go, she was somewhere she shouldn't have been. And my wife's like, "Why are you getting mad at her? Why are you just happy she's okay?" Well, you weren't happy when I was okay from my motorcycle accident. You know, oh my God, I don't even see bad memories. Now I need to get away from that. Let's get back on the positive stuff. List some more of your vehicles there, Ronnie, that you had, man. Because I'm sure people, they love some of the vehicles you had over the years. You had some nice vehicles. Happa says, hi, Panay Hart. Panay Hart, thank you, Colonel. You're welcome. Hey, Panay Hart, I mean, you know what? And I don't do this very often, but I'm going to put you up there. I'm going to put you up on Front Street. There you go. There's Panay's channel, folks, if you want to write that down and go check her out. She lives out there in, what is it, Oceanside, California? Somewhere out there in California. And, she's out there with the rich people, her and her husband. Let me tell you, Panay Hart, I haven't met folks about her a little bit. I haven't met her husband, but I've seen him in the videos, and I've talked to him in the chat here. That dude's talented woodworker. That guy is talented, man. He's a good woodworker, and yeah, he and I have a lot. We have a lot in common. And since I haven't done woodworking and as like I used to do in years and whatnot, I'm sure he's much more talented than I am and has much more knowledge about some of those things than I do. But I got a lead dovetail jig. I mentioned that before too. He's got a Porter cable. But anyway, that's a talented guy. Go ahead and check out Panay Hart at home. Check out her channel. She's there with her son. She's Filipina, for those of you that don't know. I think most of you on here know. I know Ronnie doesn't, but anyway, we're gonna try to help her out a little bit, help her grow her channel. She's been doing some videos when they're riding on the train and stuff like that and whatnot. So out there in California, it's all good. Norm says Geo Tracker was called the Vitera here in Australia, or Vitera, had one of those as well, but a hard top. Yeah, now my daughter's was, I want to say, I can't remember hers. I think hers was a soft top. I think. I believe it was a soft top, but I could be wrong on there. Could be wrong. I have to ask. Well, she doesn't talk to me anymore, so I'll probably never find out. I can't get a hold of her. She blocks her Facebook and stuff and goes off a messenger, and nobody can contact her. I can send messages, but she'll never get them. And but I heard hi at half. I think you meant Happa. Um, Nora says hi, Panay. Panay Hart at home. Hi, Norm. I appreciate you, Colonel. Yes, here in Oceanside, California. Yeah, Panay Hart. The only reason I know that is because Gino said, I think it's Gino that says that. My friend, yeah, Panay Hart there in Oceanside, California. And that's how I learn. That's how I learn where people are from, because Gino repeats it, says it, and I pick it up from him, and then I remember. Lone Star White saying, hey, good morning there, Lone Star. In the house. Howdy, Colonel. Off to bed here. Enjoy your day. Thank you, sir. Have a good night's sleep, man. Don't let the bed bugs bite. I always say, sleep tight, don't let the bed bugs bite. And my mom used to say, Panay Hart, he was having a fun time during your live stream. All righty. Yeah, your husband. And I had a little slow on the pickup there, Panay Hart. Yeah, I enjoyed having him there because, you know, he and I got a lot we can talk about. And he and I have a lot of the same knowledge, and sounds like we have a lot of the same interests. I wish he was as old as me, but he's not, youngster. I'm a little jealous. I wish I was back in my 40s, but anyway, it's all good. Yeah, it seems like a good dude, and he's had a lot of some of the same experience I got with woodworking and whatnot. He needs to get into the lathe, Panay Hart. Tell him to see if he'd get it. He might enjoy wood turning. I know I did. Now it's kind of dangerous, and it can be dangerous, and I got a bone chip up here from a mistake I made with the lathe. And it's a little bit hazardous, but he might enjoy wood turning. I know I did. I want to get a really good commercial grade lathe again. I just haven't figured out how to do it yet. And they're expensive too. So, you got to have the money to do that. And I don't have all that money to do that. I'm buying other things like multi-cabs and stuff. But, hey, there you go, Ronnie, if you're still watching, brother. I got a multi-cab. Yeah, you might see some of my short videos. You can see the little multi-cab I bought, the little van. It's a little baby van, man. It's like a big golf cart or a big go-kart, But it's fun to drive, man. If I don't have the paperwork to drive it everywhere yet, but I drove it one time from the shop to here, and it was a hoot. It was a hoot. But yeah, Lone Star, get some sleep, man. He was busy. He is busy right now in Florida. He has to take care of the house over there. Okay, I didn't know you guys had a... Where at in Florida, Panay? Did you tell me before? I can't, because I used to live in Florida. That's where I came to Thailand from, and eventually here to the Philippines. Ronnie says, signing off, enjoyed the show. Thanks, Ronnie. Appreciate you, brother. My brother from another. Tell your girl I said hello, and wish you all the best. I know you're happy, my friend, and I'm so happy about that you found happiness, and I'm still searching for that happiness that you got, brother. I'm happy, don't get me wrong, but you know what I'm saying. Ronnie used to teach me the 6-month rule. He said if you hadn't figured it out by 6, he goes, I date the lady for about 6 months, and then I'm done. I used to look at him like, oh, you're a weird dude, man. I'm like, come on, man. And I used to dog him out. And I don't want to give up too much information because he's like, just skip it. But yeah, I used to dog him out for some of the stuff that he would do. I ain't gonna lie. I used to dog him out because I thought I'm like, I ain't like that, man. I'm better than him. But here I am. I'm living his life. I'm living his life, but I'm over here in the Philippines living the life he used to live. But it's all good. yeah, I can't. Yeah, I don't know. You guys can probably tell I got some strong feelings and emotional feelings about my time with Ronnie. I can't believe I never thought he'd come into my live stream. That blows me away. I think maybe he came in one other time, maybe. I'm not sure. But yeah, I enjoy having you here, Ronnie. I appreciate that. You're probably not hearing any of this, and it might be better you're not. But yeah, I appreciate the fact that you stopped in, man. Yeah, I'm gonna have a real good day, folks. Yeah, I can't say enough good about Ronnie or Ron Dog. We used to call him, but yeah, and I worked with him at two different prisons. And when I left Philadelphia to go down to Jessup, Georgia, I found out he was there and Paul Barner were there, and both of them were lieutenants back when I was just an officer, years before in Beckley, West Virginia. And when I found out that they were at Jessup after I got selected to go there, I was like, dude, this is going to be good. Now I didn't get along with Barnard before when I was at Beckley. I do, man. He was something else as a lieutenant to work for. But when I went to Jessup, we were all lieutenants together. And when you're all at the same level, it's a different thing. Now, Ronnie had been a lieutenant much longer than both Paul and I, or I call him Eddie, uh, longer than both of us. And so anyway, but it was good times, man. It was good times there. And I felt it made my transition there in southeast Georgia a lot more comfortable. I mean, Ed, he tried to turn me into an alcoholic, and I'm not an alcoholic, but I could be, but I'm not. And I think he was trying to make me one, so I went through that little phase. I don't drink anymore, folks. I just decided that's not me. But that was the life that he and his wife lived, and that's what they like to do for enjoyment. And they had a bar there. They would invite me to come over, and yeah, I had some. Yeah, there's some other stories off of that, but I just let that go. I think I told us. No, I don't think I put that on the live stream. Someday maybe I'll tell the story, some of the stuff I did with Eddie. Yeah, we used to go fishing together, but and I used to go fishing with my good friend Jerry Tencher, who passed away. Was that last year or whatever? I did a video about that, and still miss him, man. What a good dude. Didn't always think so when I was working with him, but turned out to be a really good dude and a good God-fearing man. Let's see. Norm says, "Yeah, take care, Ronnie. Thanks for coming over again, brother. I hope you come over more and visit me on the live streams. That would be great. I'll try not to tell too many stories that'll get you in trouble." Norm says, "I had enough dust in the face from the soft top Sierra, so went to the hard top Vatera." Yeah, it makes sense. I got it. That's the same thing with the Porsche. It was fun having that top down sometimes, but I tell you what, it gets hot sometimes too. The Florida sun beating down on you. You have to wear a hat, but the good thing about the Porsche, the hat wouldn't blow off because of the ergonomics and the way the windshield and the way they had that set up. They kind of shielded you from the wind, and it just totally went around you, but you didn't feel it on you. It was interesting. You can tell Porsche, it is what it is. You are getting what you pay for. And that car had some unique features. And one of the things that blew me away, because back, this is many years ago, but back then, it had the automatic windshield wiper. Man, I didn't have to turn them on. When enough drops of rain hit the windshield, the windshield wipers come on automatically. And ain't that cool? But I had a treatment on there too and the way it was sloped, you didn't even have to use the wipers very much in that Porsche. The rain would just blow off of it. And that was a cool car. I'm not going to deny that was one cool car. It had so many features that were just like, wow, somebody really thought about this. The engineers really put a lot of effort and a lot of thought in the thought process and stuff that went into designing that little Boxster. It was just phenomenal. I'm sure all the Porsches are the same, but as far as the way they're designed. But yeah, I used to blow me away that windshield. I'd just sit, it'd be raining. I shouldn't say never. I didn't have to turn on the windshield because they would just come on when there was enough water on the windshield that the sensors determined that. And I don't even know where the sensors were, but they figured it out and they would come on. But most of the time, even if it was raining hard, it would come on automatic with the light. But then if you turned it on, I didn't really have to. I'm trying to figure out how I had to say this because there were times when I didn't even need the wipers because the rain was just blowing off. It was just beating off of the windshield and you could see fine. And so when it did that, the wiper didn't come on because it didn't need to. That's where I was going with that. But it was interesting. Nice car. Man, I missed that car. But it was too expensive to maintain. Way too expensive for somebody on a lieutenant salary to maintain. If you move back to the Philippines, Panay, where would you go? Hapa asks. Panay Hart says, we love to live away from the city, Hapa. There we go. Country girl. Provinces girl. He wanted to continue the woodworking in the Philippines. Yeah, I would love to too. But you can't get the same lumber over here that you can get in the U.S. Let's just be honest. Dazzle TV, my brother from another Gino, my Filipino brother, is in the house. Hello, Colonel. Hello, Gino. I caught your live stream earlier. Decided to pop on here after you were finished. Gino, so many of us we're riding on your coattails, brother. We're riding on the Dazzle TV coattails, and we love you for it, man. Yeah, I can't say enough good things about Gino either. Hapa says, oh, so in the province. Yep, Panay Hart. Hi, brother Gino from Panay Hart. Hi, Panay from Dazzle TV, Gino. BJT's waving. And I'll give you the two hands. I'll give you the two hands, BJT. And we'll put the S24 or S64 on there too. And thanks for stopping in, man. I should wrap this up. So I've been on it. Wow, oh my goodness, 2 hours and 20 minutes. This is a long one, folks. I didn't think it was going to be past an hour, really. But here we're still talking because you guys are in here talking to me, so I'm going to keep talking to you because I enjoy that. Panay Hart at home, Jacksonville, Florida, Colonel. Okay, I know Jacksonville real well. I lived just up the road from there and then down the road from there. We had a renter there and left early. We have no choice, but he has to see the house before selling them. However, he has to come back on the summer. It's a lot of work. Oh, so you said he's in Florida. Okay. Yeah. Wow. Okay. I used to go through Jacksonville all the time. And my semi-friend here in Iloilo, Mark, who I call Quagmire, like right now we're not really visiting or talking too much right now. We had a little bit of a falling out, and that's okay. But anyway, he's from Jacksonville, Florida. And that's why I wanted to become friends with him, because he was at one of the get-togethers. I heard him introduce himself to somebody else saying he's from Jacksonville, Florida. I said, man, I need to get together with the guy and talk because we got a lot in common. But he's busy with his girl and whatnot too. So, TM1, you're old when you lose friends every year. We'll see them on the other side. Yeah, TM, yeah. And unfortunately, I'm only 61. I'll be 62 in a couple months, and I've had a lot of people I went to school with that have passed already, and people I work with, many people I work with that have passed, and some of them passed too soon, very young. And yeah, it's a sobering thought. Life is short, folks. Enjoy the time that the Lord allows you to have, and make the most of it. And people are going to disagree about. We're supposed to be serving God. That's our purpose here on earth. And a lot of us, we forget that, and we live for other purposes. And it's up to you, and we all have to answer for that one day. That's my belief. You don't have to agree with me or believe it. But it is what it is. Make the best of the time that you're given. And I'm preaching that to myself too. Because sometimes I lose focus of the real important things in life. Let's see. I think I missed that back there, and I heard you were talking about your husband. It's a lot of work. Yeah, I'm sure it is. Gino says, Dazzle is here watching with me. Oh, hey, Dazzle. Yeah, love you guys, man. And, Gino, as positive as Gino is, I'm not making this up, folks. As positive as Gino is, and I know sometimes he gets sad too about certain things, gets upset about certain things too, but he doesn't usually show it on his live streams. But as positive as he is, when Dazzle shows up, oh, that takes it to another level of positivity right there. And she just lights up the room wherever she goes with her infectious smile and her laugh and whatnot. And I love you guys, man. I think it's great. I love going fishing with you, even though Dazzle out catches me every time on the fish, and I don't like her because of that. But no, I'm just kidding. Her and her mom, they're like the, they could have their own female fishing show. They catch them tilapia. Like I think they have a symbiotic relationship there at Low Ola's with the fish. And the fish, they just, oh, they're like when you come home and your puppy dog runs out there and wagging his tail and yipping a little bit and jumping. That's like the fish, the tilapia at Low Olaf's Fish Farm. When Gino and Dazzle and Angelique and Leon, they show up, the fish know. They're like, hey, they're here. We got to jump on that hook, you know? And it's like, it's not fair, man. It's not fair. I was just kidding. But I have such a good time with them. She says, hello, Colonel. Dazzle, of course, hello to you. Appreciate you. That's great. But anyway, yeah, that's cool, man. I appreciate you guys stopping in. Yeah, this has been a good live stream, folks. I've had people come in here that, like Ronnie came in. I haven't talked to him in a hot minute for a little while. It's good that he came in here. Norm's in here, and TM, and Panay Hart stopped there. I mean, it's great. And I know I missed a couple people. BJ Happa, like when Happa comes in, and my bodyguard, hopefully my future bodyguard. There's Lone Star. I'm going back. Norm, of course, and I'm sorry if I missed you folks. If you're still in here and I didn't say your name, give me a shout out. Holler at me, say, hey, you missed me there, sucker. And it's okay. I'll mention you, but it's all good. Oh, I got it back. I lost my stream there. Where am I? Oh my goodness. Hold on now. Okay, there we are. TM Gino is well respected by all who follow or know him. Absolutely, absolutely. I'm sure there's somebody somewhere that's upset at Gino, but because that's the way life is. But you know what? We're not going to focus on them or on that. Gino's in my book he's a good man. As good as we can be on this earth, on this side of life. Panay Heart Home, true at TM. I wasn't even that old yet, and was sad looking that some of my friends that are younger than me, they're just gone so fast. Yeah, that's life. That's life. That's one of the sadness of life. But if you believe the way I do, and they believe the same way, you're gonna see them again. Happa says, "Oh, Panay, can I get your option on something, since you are, or your opinion, I think, on something, since you are a woman and have a different perspective." Oh, here we go. Here we go, Happa. Here we go. Panay said, "Well, we are thinking about Tagaytay, even Panay Island. We love our city, and Imus Cavite too, away from the crowds for sure." Panay, I would really look at Panay Island myself, because the attitude on this island is completely different than Luzon. And like for me, I would never want to live in Cavite. Tagaytay is nice, but I don't want to live there near the volcanoes. That's just my personal thing. And you're still pretty far away from stuff there. So it's just, and Panay Island is pretty far away too. But if you like to be around the city, Iloilo here has everything that you need as far as city life goes. To include some really good restaurants also. And the people still have that laid back attitude, even though it's a city. But you got to go where you're comfortable. Hi, Dazzle from Panay Heart. Happa says, "Does this seem fishy to you?" Here's the question, I think. Talking to a girl who is a flight attendant, but she currently living, says she shares an apartment with another flight attendant who is a man. She says he's barely home. I don't know. We commented about that earlier, Happa. I'm interested to see what Panay Heart says, but I told you I have my doubts about some of that, but if he's barely there, and maybe he's there when she's not there, and vice versa. But still sounds fishy to me. But that's just me. I'm a guy, and I've been burned a lot, so I'm a little jaded towards some of that stuff, and a little bit of skepticism towards females living with other guys. But anyway, that's just me. But it doesn't feel right to me. Happa, I would just go back, man. If it doesn't feel right to you, get out of it. Recognize those feelings and listen to those feelings. Sometimes you need to listen to those feelings. If it doesn't feel right to you, it's not, man. What do you think, Panay? I'm interested in what she thinks too. Here we go. Is the man a straight man? Yeah, I was wondering that too, Panay Heart. I was wondering that too, but I didn't say it. Is a man a straight man? Not to offend anyone, but most of the time we are comfortable to share a place with gay only, but I do want I do not want to judge your woman. Maybe the guy has a girlfriend. Yeah, we don't know all that, and it's really none of our business, you know. But Hapa, don't ignore, don't ignore what you're thinking. I do hope that the girl introduced you to her roommate. I had a guy, best friends in the past, but it changed the relationship soon as we have our own relationship. But it changed the relationship soon as we have our own. Yeah, I mean, I just, I don't know, man. Yeah, I just say happy. If you don't feel comfortable with it, it's time to move on. You're still a young man. I mean, you're old enough to know, but you're still young enough where put yourself in a position that you feel comfortable in. I mean, maybe everything's on the up and up with her. I don't know. Maybe everything is, but maybe it's not. And you know, if good for her if she can share an apartment with a guy and there's nothing going on at all, and they can do that and they're strong enough to do that. Good for them. Kudos to them. It's the way it should be, but sometimes human nature takes over. Let's be honest. We're not perfect. I don't know if he is straight or leans the other way. Um, she said he moved in just for the closet space. Sorry, Happa. That I'm sorry. It struck me as funny. My gut is telling me this is fishy. Haven't met her in person. Just talked over text messaging. Yeah, I would cut that off, Happa. But don't listen to me, man. Listen to yourself. Ah, there's John Vasquez. I haven't seen you in a while. There, John, with the alien emoji. Sir, good PM. Good evening, Colonel. Good morning, John. Good to see you, man. I haven't seen you in a minute. I'm glad you were able to catch the live stream. Appreciate you. I don't know if she is, this is from Panay Hart now, going back to Happa's topic. I don't know if she is trying to make you jealous or maybe she is waiting for you to offer to pay her own place. Haha. And Panay Hart brings up a good point. I didn't even go there with my thoughts yet, but that's a good point. That could be a way of manipulating and to see if you offer to get her her own place. And if that's the case, and Panay Hart's saying that, beware, beware, my friend. Beware, Hapa. Beware. But you can still talk to her. Just don't make a commitment. Panay Hart says, hi, John Vasquez. Hapa says, I met her on a dating app, and we only talked for a couple days, and she told me that. So I'll get out of it. It doesn't feel right. I think he would try that one day if he hasn't already. As a man, Hapa, and with my jaded thoughts sometimes, that's the way I look at it. You know, yeah, it doesn't feel right or smell right to me. But that's just me. Maybe Gino, if you're still on here, maybe you can weigh in on that, on your thoughts. I think you're probably going to think the same way we are. And there's many beautiful Filipinas out here, Hapa, that aren't going to be in that situation. You know. But I also know there's some beautiful flight attendants, especially on Cebu Pacific, and there's some handsome male flight attendants too. And I don't know which way they go. I know how I feel sometimes when I see some, but then there's some of them just good men, just good guys, and they just happen to be more handsome than me. But it's not hard to be more handsome than the colonel. I ain't gonna lie, it ain't that hard. But it's all good. Everybody's different. What you do in the privacy of your home is what you do in the privacy of your home. I may have my feelings about it and whatnot, and that's neither here nor there. And I'm entitled to that, and you're entitled to your lifestyle. That's how we're going to go on that one. See, Panay Hart. But I suggest don't offer anything yet unless you know her well. Absolutely, Panay Hart. And that's good advice to anybody. That's good advice to me, to anybody. John Vasquez, hi, good PM, Panay Hart. Good evening, Panay Hart from John Vasquez. Panay Hart, it's really strange in our culture that we have to live with a guy. I don't know the young people now anymore. Ha ha ha. I'm with you, Panay Hart. Yeah, you know, this ain't Three's Company back in the 70s. You know, as weird as that was and whatnot. And anybody watch that sitcom. But I still think, nah, man. I don't want to be in a relationship with a woman who's living with another man. even if it is platonic. I just don't like it, and it would hurt my feelings, and I would, yeah, I'd get into my feelings about that, and because I've been cheated on so many times. So I don't trust, and it ain't just that I don't trust the women. I don't trust the guys. I don't trust the guys that wouldn't try to make a move on my girl. Not at all. For sure, 100%. And you can call me jealous, you can call me shallow, whatever you want. I don't care. I'm entitled to my opinion and my feelings, just like you're entitled to yours. John Baskin, okay, good evening. Wait, hold on. I went back. LOL, laugh out loud, Panay from Hapa. Leo. Leo made the live stream out there in New Mexico. Hello, Colonel. Nice to see you on live. God bless and much love. Appreciate you, brother. Thank you for stopping in. And yeah, I keep saying, come, brother. Leo, I appreciate you being here, man. Leo always comes in. He's faithful about stopping in and saying hello. I don't know a lot about him, except he's in New Mexico. I don't know if he's a he. Yeah, but I go with the name Leo. I'm assuming it's a guy, But Leo stopped, and I'm looking at that picture, and I can't. Looks like a guy in the picture, and I've looked at before. But I appreciate people like him because he always stops in and says hello, and I appreciate that. Because I don't know what he's got going on in life and whatnot, but I appreciate people that keep coming back. And you take time, like I always say, out of your valuable day to come onto my live stream. And if you comment and say hello, I appreciate that and give me the thumbs up. That's awesome. And if you stick around and watch and interact with other people, that's even better. That's even better. That helps out the channel. Panay Hart, it's okay that you can talk to her at Happen. Maybe she have lots of friends. Ha ha ha. Just don't give your heart out yet. That's good advice, Panay Hart. Let's see what Gino says. Flight attendants are on high demand here dating-wise. You will have a lot of competition dating a flight attendant. Thank you for that, Gino. Thank you for that. That's a good comment. Happa says, yeah, dating in this day and age is hard. Isn't that the truth? Wait till you get to my age and have to date. It doesn't get any easier, man. I'm here to tell you. And Leo, Leo, I always thought that, but I look at the picture and I can't, hold on. I got to look at a bigger picture there that you have posted. And so I apologize calling you brother and I'm calling you a guy. And I'm embarrassed by that. So thank you, finally. I never wanted to ask before because I didn't want to be offensive to anybody. But I appreciate that. And having said it makes me feel better about some of the comments that you made in the past. And because I was starting to wonder there a little bit. But listen, it doesn't change anything about what I said. I appreciate you coming in and stopping in and saying hello to me and saying the kind words that you say. I greatly appreciate that. And you're welcome in here at any time. Mystery solved finally for the Colonel and the Colonels Chronicles about Leo. It's the Leo name that threw me off, okay? So just for clarification, but I appreciate you coming in. And yeah, it's great. When I see names I've seen before, people that come in here on a regular basis, that makes me feel good. It makes me feel good about my channel. John Vasquez, sir, good PM Gino. Good evening, Gino from John Vasquez. Hapa, thank you, Gino. Yeah, happy you get a different perspective. Gino's Filipino, and I call him American Filipino, but or maybe it's Filipino American. I don't know, Gino, how you look at it. Is it Filipino American or American Filipino? Gino says, hi, John Vasquez, you're welcome, Hapa. Listen, the German slipped. You're welcome. The German slipped out there. You're welcome, Hapa. Panay Hart at home. I remember back in my college days, my neighbor told me that to get a job, they have to be really, really good looking. They screen their physical attributes. It's like a beauty contest, haha. Panay Hart, all jokes aside about something like that, they do that in Thailand too. For certain employers and stuff, they will only hire what they consider to be attractive and pretty girls. If the girls are not considered attractive or pretty, they won't hire them. It's so unfair, and it's so, in American culture, we say so sexist and whatnot, and it is unfair because you might miss out on somebody who's really good at a certain job because you're just basing it on their appearance. But you know what? Here in the Philippines and here in Thailand, it's a reality. They actually do that. That's why too, like over in Thailand, if they're over 30, they won't get hired. And I believe it's the same over here. You know, you get up in your 30s and you're a female trying to get a job, it's difficult. I know the one girl that I was with for a while, Filipino girl. She was working on a golf course, and they hired her outside of the scope or the parameters of the job because she was too old. You know, she was in her 30s. What was she, 37? Or at the time 35 or whatever. And they told her, you're too old. But because she was a fairly attractive lady, I thought very attractive lady, they hired her because they knew that the foreigners and the Koreans and stuff coming in to play golf, they want a good looking caddy. And they're just being superficial about their looks. And she would tell me stories. I'm like, yeah, I figured that's what went on there. I figured that was going on because I had, you ever go back, and of course she said no and whatnot. But stuff goes on them golf courses and some of the sexual harassment that goes on. And just so happened her clientele were mostly Korean, and she'd tell me some of the stuff these guys would do, and inappropriate touching and things like that, and inappropriate talking and the advances that they would put on them. And I'm sorry to be talking about this, folks, but it's just a reality. It does happen, unfortunately. But yeah, so it goes back to the Asians. So they want just the pretty girls. But, beauty's in the eyes of the beholder. What I might think is pretty, you might think is ugly, and whatever. It's okay. Yeah. Oh, Hapa says, these dating apps sucks. Even if you match with someone and start talking, they just ghost me or end up being bots. Maybe I'm being too picky, haha. Hapa, I'm with you, man. We could talk all day about the dating apps and what goes on there. And a lot of it is bots. Or I've had that experience too, where I'll talk to somebody and have a connection. Might chat all day long with an individual, and then the next day, nothing. You don't hear anything. And it just happens. And lots of times too, if you're not active on the app, especially on that one, the Cupid apps, the Thai Cupid, Filipino Cupid, they're bots, man. A lot of bots. There's some real people on there, but if you're not like actively involved or whatever, and he sees it, they throw the bots at you. It's like, this person liked you. It's a bot. Or you'll have this person liked you, and they're from the U.S. and you're in the Philippines. Really? Come on now. They're bots. It's crazy. Absolutely, Colonel. They based it on their skin color too. Ha ha. Yeah, they do, Panay Heart. They want the, and I don't understand this, but they want the white skin. Those of us with white skin, we want to be tan. And now I don't lay out in the sun anymore. Skin cancer is dangerous, but I don't lay out in the sun anymore or anything like that. But I always wanted to be tan. If I get tan, it comes natural. Because like in Thailand, I used to be pretty dark because I would go out to the farm every day, and I was riding my motorbike a lot in Thailand, even when I walked away from the farm and all that. I rode a lot. So my arms, and I wear shorts, so my legs and my arms would get really dark. Not so much here in the Philippines because I don't do as much riding. And I'm in the house a lot more, so I'm starting to get white again. And I like to, but it's funny. Those that are white, we want to be dark. The people that are dark want to be white. That's crazy. Not everybody, but I get all the whitening products over here, and not just the Philippines, but it's really bad in Thailand. They really wanted, if they got dark skin, they're really looked down upon, and they're treated really badly. They're all using whitening creams and products and soap and everything, lotion. It's insane. And I just chuckle because in America we're like, why do you want to be white? Most of us foreigners, especially if the girls that are trying to pick up a foreigner or whatever, we come up. Excuse me, I got this. That's a really pretty bird. There's a little bird I've never seen before. It's like yellow. It's like a little finch. Maybe somebody had a pet and let it loose. But anyway, sorry, ADD, folks. But oh, look at that chicken. Oh, yeah, squirrel. But anyway. I don't know if you guys can relate to that movie, what that movie's from. But anyway, yeah, they in Thailand it's real bad. They treat a lot of the people up in Isan are darker skin, and so the people down in the south they just treat them badly, and they look at their skin. To me, it's craziness. It's just craziness. And what most foreigners, we like the girls with the darker skin. Not all, but most of us Americans anyway. We like the Filipina, the Morena look, or Thailand, the Isan look. They have the dark. We liked it. We think it's beautiful. At least I always did. But I don't judge. if you have lighter skin, I think you're pretty. That's all that matters. I think you're pretty. But I'm not basing whether you're pretty or not based on the color of your skin. Me personally, I don't do that. I mean, you could be dark, dark. You could be dark brown or black. But if I find you pretty, you're pretty in my eyes. I'm not, don't care about what color your skin is. But anyway, so Gino clarifies it. He's Filipino American. Okay, I wasn't sure which one I should put first, Gino, when it comes to you, because as far as I'm concerned, you're an American, but I know you're Filipino. You're Filipino by birth. But for me, you did your 20 or however many years you did in the Air Force, and you served my country, our country, okay, and you put in your service, and you're willing to give your life and soul for the United States of America. So you're an American in my book. But I know you're Filipino, man. It gives you an edge, man. I'm jealous. You got an edge over here. Those that are just 100% American. We don't have the edge you got, man. It's not fair. But that's okay. Since I was Filipino first before I became American. Okay, so Filipino American. That makes sense. The way you explained, that makes sense. Okay, I appreciate that, man. Thank you for that. I hope I remember that. But anyway, I probably won't, but I hope I do. Hapa is from Panay Heart. Just visited Philippines. I'm pretty sure you might meet someone. Okay. Hapa says, that's a good plan, Panay. Hapa, and I agree with her. I agree with her, Hapa. I agree with her. The dating site, I've been on the dating sites. I've been on more than one, I've been on several. And they do make you become jaded a little bit. And, what I've found lately, except for all the lady boys, I'm going to bring up the site Tinder. A lot of people, oh no, not Tinder, because in the U.S. Tinder is known as a hookup site. And if that's what you're into, fine, but I'm not into that. But what I find here in the Philippines, it seems to be the one that has the more real people on it, and people that aren't going to ghost you after one day, although it has happened. But it seems to be that the Filipina take Tinder, some of them, not all, but there seem like there's some that are actually sincere on there and are genuinely looking on there. That's been my experience. Some of the other ones, not so much. It's all bots and they're fake, and their pictures are fake and everything. And Tinder has some of that too. Now, what has irritated me about Tinder over here is that there's so many lady boys, and even though I'm pretty good at determining who is and who isn't, sometimes they trick you. The photos are misleading, so you got to be careful with that too. Unless that's what you're into. I'm personally not into that. But like a guy told me, and I said to people joking, don't knock it till you try it. No, thank you, I'm good. No, thanks, I'm good. But I joke with people like that sometimes because we joke around. And some people are into that. I'm not. It's not my thing. But anyway, let's move on from that. Enough about that. That's good, Hapa. I'm pretty sure of they will be the one approaching you, but starts making friends first. Absolutely. And Hapa's a good looking, that's a big man, a good looking man. He's in good shape, jiu-jitsu and all that. Yeah, they're going to be knocking down the door to get to you, Hapa, for sure. So be careful. You got to keep your guard up, man, and be careful. Dazzle TV said, Gino and Dazzle say, Filipinos are obsessed with whiter skin in the Philippines. They sell whitening lotion, whitening soap, whitening pills, and whitening injections. Ain't that the truth, Gino? And it's crazy, man. Me personally, I think it's crazy. It's important to them. And, they're going to do it because it's important to them. And as far as each other with Filipinos, that's fine. But as far as like Americans and as far as foreigners, most of us, we're not worried about that if your skin is darker than not. I mean, the girl I dated there for that short time there, that was from Leyte, she was very dark. And she was self-conscious about it. But I'm not, man. It's just not important to me. But they do all that, what Gino says, there for sure. So, Beb, what is that? Yeah, Beb, I'll just say Beb, because I can't say all that. Or I can try to say it, but I'll mess it up. It says, hello, hey, Beb. Hey, I like your live. I'm going to subscribe. Appreciate that. I always consider my stuff boring, but if you enjoy it and you're getting something out of it, and you're getting something positive out of it, you're welcome. And you can subscribe. That's great. I appreciate that. I appreciate the time that you're taking out of your day to come over here and say hello and interact with some of the people that are here in the chat. I've got good people here in the chat. And speaking of which, they're stone cold. I think with Stone Cold, we can use the word good people loosely. I'm just teasing Stone Cold. Stone Cold's my instigator. Happa is the new Chuck Norris. There you go, Stone Cold. Yeah. Chuck Norris has passed on. And Happa's the new Chuck Norris. You know what, doing? I think Happa's a lot bigger than Chuck Norris. That's a big dude right there. Panay and Gino, how do you manage your own relationships when times get tough or there are arguments? Wow, Happa, that's a loaded question, man. And I would be almost, if I was them, I would almost not want to answer that question. But, you handle it in your own way. And everybody handles adversity and differently. And when people have arguments, it's differently. But, in the Philippines, there's this thing called tampo. And that's its own little thing. And sometimes with some guys, they'll be like, I want tampo, because then they get some quiet. But that's if you have a talkative Filipino. But if you have a quiet Filipino, then, you might just get used to tampo anyway. And it's just like, oh, well, nothing's changed. But if you have a talkative one and they go tampo on you and get silent on you, it's going to be discouraging a little bit. It's going to be kind of like, or you might be happy for some silence. I don't know. But yeah, that's one of those things happen for me. You didn't ask me. You're asking Panay and Gino, and that's okay. But everybody handles it differently. And I think you need to be sensitive to your loved one. You need to consider their feelings, consider what they're thinking about, what they're going on, or what they're upset about, and consider how they handle adversity in their own lives. All those factors are going to enter in, and it should enter into how you approach it also. You need to be considerate. And above all, you need to be loving of that person. If you love them, then love them in the true sense of the word. When I talk about love, I'm not just talking about physical love. I'm talking about love with the emotions and the feelings and the mental, in the heart, everything. And you need to approach that appropriately. Hopefully there's not a lot of arguments. But when you live with somebody, you're going to have disagreements. Not everything's happiness and light. We love each other. Yeah, you love each other. But sometimes there's serious things that come up. And sometimes there's disagreements. Or there's difference of opinions. I mean, that girl that pulled the knife out on me in Thailand, we were talking about politics. I'm like, you're gonna take my life over politics? Come on. All right. Bev says, "Are you in the Philippines right now?" Absolutely. I am in the Philippines on the island of Panay, in Iloilo, the city of Iloilo. That's where I'm at. Let's see. Hapa says, "Haha, Stone Cold Chuck Norris can dribble bowling balls. Rest in peace." All right, Hapa. Leo's still here. Colonel here in New Mexico. It's 10:25 p.m. Yeah, Leo, you might not be time for you to get some sleep, but I appreciate you being here. If you've been watching the whole time, I really appreciate that because you're helping my watch hours. Because I'm still not monetized, but I always say I appreciate when I see that name, Leo, pop up in the channel. Like, wow, it can be, And now I can say she came back and said hello to me, and that's a wonderful thing, and I really appreciate it. Bev says, "Can you say some Filipino words, please?" Nope, not going to do that. But thanks for asking. Panay Heart at home. Other people can write in Filipino language. There's so many different dialects, different language. Here in Iloilo, they're mostly talking Ilonggo. And up there where Gino and Giles were at, they're, what is it, Aklanon, Gino, or Aklanon? I'm probably saying it wrong. But, yeah, no, I'm not going to do that. I know a few words, but I don't feel the need to do that. But thanks for asking. Wow, it was a long time between sips of coffee. It's really cold now. Let's see. Panay Hart says, "My husband shared something from his history class about the mestizo influence in the Philippines. He explained that during Spanish colonization, people with lighter skin, like Spaniards and mestizos." Yes, that's true. He explained that during Spanish colonization, people with lighter skin, like Spaniards and mestizos, higher status and more opportunities because of that. Lighter skin became associated with beauty and success. that mindset stayed over time, which is why it still influences preferences today. And yeah, and that Aclanon Colonel. Okay, yeah, I was okay. Aclanon. I think I said it right then. Okay, I like to be corrected when I mispronounce things. It doesn't offend me. So, because that's one thing about language. I try to be meticulous. I try to use the correct pronunciations of names, even in English, because English is a difficult language too. But however, back to what you were saying, Panay Hart. Yeah, absolutely. And I don't think that's always fair, but that's the history of it, and that's how it comes about. And it was the same in Thailand. And in Thailand, a little bit of history in Thailand. I mentioned this before, I believe, is the reason the people down south, Bangkok and south, they look down on the people up in Isan, and they look at them as lower class citizens. And then if people are from Myanmar or Burma, they really look down on them, because back in the day, the king of Siam, he attacked up there in Isan, was part of Laos, and they attacked the king up there, and they conquered them. And they brought a lot of people back from Isan, now we call Isan region, but from that region, they brought them back as slaves and whatnot, and indentured servants and things like that. So it even carries over today, even though all of that's part of Thailand now. Some of the people down south, they think they're better than the people in Bangkok. They're their own little animals, but as far as I don't mean animals, but they have their own little dynamics going on in Bangkok too, where they kind of look down on everybody, I think. But yeah, it's because of that in the past where they were a conquered people, and now the people that conquered them still think they're better. It's all hogwash. They're not any better. Nobody's any better than anybody else, especially based on skin color. Leo says, I love and enjoy your streams. You are very kind and gentleman. Well, thank you, Leo. I try to be. I'm not always. Let's be honest. I'm not always. Sometimes I have some faults too, but I try to be. Yeah, I try. Sometimes I say some things that aren't so kind, to be honest. But I try to be polite and I try to be respectful. Even if I don't agree with somebody, I still try to be polite and respectful. But ask Bellis. I'm not always. Bellis and I, we've had some colorful conversation, and I said some things I probably shouldn't have said, and it's just the way it is, and I just say sorry later, or try to explain myself better. But thank you for that, Leo. I appreciate that. I really do. Happa says, Colonel, sometimes I hear a bunch of dogs barking in your live streams. Is there a pound nearby, or are they the neighbor's dogs? Sounds like a lot of them. Okay, the dogs. Where I live, I have a gate, and my gate's usually locked with a chain or a padlock, or both, because I have two openings in the gate. But the dogs are out I live in a dead-end street, and it's a very narrow street, okay, where basically only one vehicle can get by. And so the dogs don't really belong to anybody, but I believe that they are the offspring, well, I know that they're offspring of the dogs next door, okay? But they just put them out in the street, and now they're grown. And when I first moved here, they bark at any stranger, even if they're with me, and I would bring somebody back to my house, which rarely happens, but sometimes Rissy cleans the house and stuff, and when she and her son come here, they start barking, because it's a stranger, and they bark. And they barked at me when I moved here, but I won them over. Of course, how did I win them over? Of course, I gave them food. And now they just love me. When they see me coming in down the dirt road, because it's dirt at the beginning of the street, section of dirt, and it goes to concrete. They come running. Their tags are wailing, and the rear ends are wagging, and the tails are wagging. I think I said that wrong. Did I say wailing? The tags are wagging, and they don't bark at me anymore, but they greet me, and then as I go slow, they follow along either side of my motorbike. There's 5 of them, and then they had 6 puppies next door. I think they got rid of all but one. I don't even want to ask how they got rid of the other ones, because I think they did something that I would not be happy about. But they do what they got to do. Bellis does the same thing. You get so many puppies. But I tell people, hey, you can stop that. They don't want to spend the money to go to the vet and have their dogs fixed, spayed or neutered. They don't want to do that. So they keep having puppies. And the one mom of all the dogs out here, the ones that live out in the street, I guarantee she's pregnant again. She got hit up so many times. She got it. She's going to have puppies again. I call her Little Hope. But they're friendly dogs, and I've never seen them bite or even act like they're going to bite a human being. And they want to bite on each other. They fight, and because there's a pecking order out there. And then you got some that are lesser in the, they're not the alpha, and they're lesser down the pipeline. And then they pick on the one. There's one out there that's it's a female. She's a runny female. She's the runt. Oh, they pick on that poor little thing, and she's so cowed, although she's walking around her head down. She'll come up to me and let me pet her, but she's so scared. The other dogs, they brutalize that poor little thing. But anyway, yeah, they're all what you would call stray. But pound, if there's a pound, I don't know of it. It's not like the U.S. happen, okay? They might have animal control, but they're not doing the things like they're doing in the U.S. They're not going around and gathering up dogs and everything. Because honestly, most people, they don't keep their dogs chained up or anything. They just let them run around. So if they came around and did that, they'd be taking everybody's pets, and there'd be a lot of upset people. And I found this in Thailand, dude. It's funny. Thailand, strays everywhere. But hit one of them and see what happens. You hit one of them by accident or whatever, all of a sudden, people come, that's my dog. You need to compensate me. You killed my dog. You need to give me money for my dog. And as a foreigner, as an American, you're like, man, get the heck out of here. If that was your dog, why didn't you have your dog inside your house or chained up? Or why didn't you take care of your dog? I know, like Gino and Dazzle, they take care of their dogs, and they're like parts of the they're like members of the family. And little Kal-El, now they have cute little thing, man. He's adorable. But they take care of us, and they walk, and you're talking about it, they walk their dogs and on the leash, and and they pick up after the waste from the dog. They do it right, but a lot of people, they just don't. They have a dog. They want the dog for the barking and to let them know when intruders are coming, and they just let them go. But over here in the Philippines too. But those dogs, they don't bother me. They bark a lot, make a lot of noises sometimes, but it's usually when they're really carrying on, because they're fighting amongst themselves, and or just they're establishing the pecking order out there, But they don't bother me anymore. I gave them some dog food, and they think I'm their best buddy now, because they know, like they always say, don't bite the hand that feeds you, But yeah, it's a lot of them. And then what happens is when the females go into heat, then the male dogs from the other streets come over here, and then it's a real ruckus. Yeah, it's crazy. Panay Hart said, Happo, when it comes to disagreements, my husband and I face different challenges, especially since he had a brain injury. I've had to learn as best as I can how to approach him with understanding. That's beautiful, Panay Hart, and you're a good woman. If he tells me he's not ready to respond, I respect that and let it go. I try to listen to how he prefers to communicate so we can have a better and calmer discussion. You see, there's a married couple there that they understand each other. And they've chosen to have an understanding and a better understanding of each other. And because they love each other, they're willing to accept the differences that they have, and that they're two different people, and they might approach problems differently, but they've chosen to have understanding about that, and then come together and honor and respect each other, to give them the time and the space that they need till they can sit down then and have a discussion or talk about it, or maybe not, maybe let it go. But Panay Hart, I appreciate that. That's a really good, very, very mature, very, very good and mature answer, and responsible answer. And if you guys have that kind of relationship, folks, those are relationships that last right there. Unlike mine that didn't. Very good. I couldn't have said that better myself, Panay Hart. That's awesome. Thanks for being here, and thanks for giving that answer for Hapa. I hope you're thankful for that response, Hapa, and you take that to heart, Hapa. That's a wealth of knowledge. Yeah, I couldn't have said that myself. That's awesome. He had a brain injury, Panay. I didn't know that. I'm sorry. It's back from military days, Hapa. Hapa, yeah, Colonel, when they all bark, it sounds like they're attacking someone. Yeah, they're not attacking anybody. Mostly what they do, they just kind of stand back. They don't come at you. They just kind of like stand back and bark, letting you know, hey, this is our street, and we're running things out here. We're not going to hurt, but we're going to bark at you. Because that's what they did to me. They just bark. If you walk at them, they run away because they're like, oh, it's a human being. They're going to beat me. Because unfortunately, that's what happens in Southeast Asia. Like, they beat their dogs, and they shouldn't, but they do. Or kick them, or hit them with the broom. Or show a dog over here a broom. Like, yeah, because the ladies go after them with the old moms. They go after them with the brooms now. I've seen it. That's why I can say that. Let's see, where am I? Lost my spot there. There we go. Panay Hart says, yes, at Hapa, he had a brain injury and it changed him. He's still a great man, but there are a lot of challenges because he isn't the same as he was before. Yeah, but Panay Hart, I know that you guys are working through all that, and you're the kind of lady. It seems God has blessed you with the gift of patience, and you have the patience to deal with that. And you guys are a great example. Great example. I just wish you didn't live in California. No, I'm just kidding. I don't like California, even though it has beautiful parts, but I do not want to live there for many, many reasons. And I'll just keep that to myself. I'm sorry for that, Panay Hart from Hapa, but I'm praying his health has improved. I think he's making the best of the situation, Hapa. They both are. That's the type of relationship I want to have, Colonel. Absolutely, Hapa. That's the type of relationship we should all want to have. At least that's what I want to have. Now, there's men out there that don't want that. I've had male acquaintances that they don't want a loving relationship like that. They just want a love them and leave them relationship. And my British friend was like that. And it's, that's up to them. I don't want that. I want the same thing that you want. And I want a good relationship, a good understanding, a true loving relationship in a situation where you have understanding of each other and the willingness to step back and let that person be themselves. And lots of times we're selfish and we want to change people to be how we want them to be. We don't want to accept how they are. So you have to ask yourself, do you really love this person? If you truly love them, you can accept them for the way they are instead of trying to change them. Everyone always tells me, this is from Hapa, the relationship has to be 50-50. Yeah, and anyone who's watched a lot of my videos and seen all of them, you'll hear me say, I don't agree with that. I look at 100%, 100%. But I understand what they mean by the 50-50. They say it's a give and take, and it's understand. But for me, I look at it differently. I look at it, if you choose to love someone, you need to give 100%, and they give 100%. And that's the word I'm looking for. What's involved with giving the 100% of each of you, both giving 100%, you're going to meet each other, and I don't even want to say halfway, okay? But you're going to meet each other with understanding, and you're going to go together, and the 100%, 100 plus 100 is 200, but in this situation, it's becoming 100%, and you're interacting together, and you're intertwining all those different things of the relationship and building a strong relationship with each other. And what I submit to people is, if you're only giving half of yourself to that person, and they're only giving half of themselves, then you're only going to have half of a relationship, okay? A halfway relationship, because you're always going to have this out on the fringes. There's going to be something in your relationship that you're not sharing with the person that you say you love. And if they truly love you, they're going to be able to accept also what you're guarding out here. Because the 50% that you're not giving to the person that you love are secrets and things that you're guarding, or that you don't want to be hurt about, or you think they don't understand about, or it's something you want to keep to yourself. And it's your walls that you've put up, your defense mechanisms, so that you don't become hurt in the process of the relationship. But if you truly love someone and you're giving 100%, of someday, maybe not right away, but you're going to be able to open up about those things, and the secrets come out, and even though they're secrets, and I said this before, I don't think all secrets need to be shared, but what I'm getting at is that it's a comfort level to be able to give 100%. If you truly want a relationship to grow, and it's like Panay Hart with her husband, they've truly given 100% to each other, it seems like, it appears. And look, because of that, they have a stronger relationship. But if you're only willing to give 50% and you're only willing to meet somebody halfway, I don't see how that works. But that's just me. Some people can make that work. I choose not to make that work. Let's see. Panay Hart says, thank you at Hapa. He's getting better and discovering that he can do more now, just in a different way than before. I've learned that when we choose someone, we have to be prepared for change. Wise words from a young lady. She's not that young, but she's still younger than me. Panay Hart, I choose to be with him because commitment matters to me. And there you go. you know. And then you look at somebody like me that I've been married multiple times, divorced multiple times, and then you say, oh, well, he can't make a commitment. And I hear that, and I respect that, and I respect that you would look at me that way and understand that. But that's truly not who I am. I know what commitment is, and I know what's involved with commitment. But sometimes in life, life throws you a curveball, and you can choose to stick with it. I mean, I didn't want to get stabbed to death in the one relationship. I didn't want to share my wife with another man in the other two relationships. Sorry. Was I committed to them? Yes, I was. And in my first marriage, I stayed living with her for 21 years. Had 4 children. And, but, you know, it's the way it is sometimes. Maybe I'm not as strong as I wish that I was, or as strong as I want to be, or as strong as I purport to be. I know what my faults are. Trust me, I do. I don't need to share all of them here, because it's none of your business. But I share a lot of them with you guys, because I'm a pretty open individual. But I can keep a secret too. I didn't talk about Bella's vanilla, even though I wanted to, but I didn't. Let's see. Hapa says, I wish there were more women in the world out there like you, Panay. That's very kind of you, Hapa. Yeah, I think she's a good lady. I think her husband is very fortunate. Also, that's a good take on it, Colonel. 100, 100. Yeah, I don't know where I picked that up from, Hapa, but it's just something that maybe I picked that up when I was in Bible college. I don't know, but just over time, it might become what I've realized. If you're only willing to give half, the other person you're with is only going to get half. And you know what? They want 100. They want 100% of you. And you should want 100% of them. So unless you both are willing to give 100%, is it really worth the effort just to give half? I don't know. It's just a different take by the Colonel, you know. Some people don't agree with me, and it's okay. But thanks, Hapa, for that, and thanks, Panay Hart, for your good words. Panay Hart says, there's a lot for sure. Just keep praying. My husband once told me he had given up on meeting someone, and then one day he received a surprise email from me. A relationship takes work. Yes, it does. It's everyday work, but what matters most is that both of you are willing to work together. Absolutely. And you know, I've reached that point in my life a couple of times. Even recently, I reached a point where it's like, Lord, I'm ready to just be single the rest of my life. I'm really not ready, but I can accept it. Okay, I can accept being single. And then lo and behold, I get a message from this young lady, and seems to be one of the best people I've met in a long time. So let's see what happens, folks. I'll keep you posted. And hopefully, you know, she works all the time, so we'll see what happens. We'll see. But anyway, moving on. Let's see. Thank you for the advice, Panay, from Hapa. Yeah, absolutely. I appreciate that too. Folks, that advice that Panay Hart gave is not just for Hapa. That's good advice for everyone, myself included. Great advice. And I consider myself a quasi-counselor in being able to help other people. Can't help myself, but I can help other people usually. Because I was a counselor for a time, and actually, that's when I first went to Bible college, that was my major. I was majoring in Christian counseling. And I actually was able to use that as a counselor in the Bureau of Prisons for a time before I was a lieutenant. But anyway, it's funny. Therapists, counselors, whatnot, they can help other people who can't help themselves. It's the way it usually works. Let's see. When you can start driving the van, what are your plans, Colonel? Oh, Hapa, well, I'm going to go, I want to go up to Ackland again, obviously. I want to go visit Levi and Future Farmers of Ackland. And I want to go over to Antique. So, you know, I'm going to use it. But, you know, we got to wait and see what's going to happen with the oil prices and with what's going on with that and everything. I need to be careful because, you know, the Philippines has a finite supply of oil, supposedly. And, you know, they got to rely on the tankers to bring it in. And so we'll see what happens here. It might become scarce. I'm hoping not, but it could happen. So we'll see. But yeah, I'm gonna use that for. And when it rains, I'm gonna drive it. I still got my motorbike. However, if I'm in a relationship and if I want to do things more with my new sweetheart, suppose, you know, I'm using that loosely there. I don't want to offend her, but if she watches this. But if I'm gonna want to do things, take her place, I can't take her on my motorbike because it's too small. But I can take her in the multi-cab. So who knows? We'll see. Like to take her out. Like to take her out to eat. Um, but she lives kind of far, a little bit far out, not too far, but far enough where you got to take some time to do the driving and whatnot. And then in the multi-cab, it's going to take longer to go anywhere because it doesn't go fast, and I'm stuck in traffic too. Unlike the motorbike where I can go around everybody, and I do. But you're welcome from Panay Heart. She says you're welcome at Happy and good luck. I'll be praying that you meet the right person. Well, thank you, Panay Heart, for and pray for me too, Panay Heart, that I'm meeting the right lady. Don't forget the Colonel. I'm still single. I'm kind of not now. I don't want to look at myself as single now because I told her I'm impressed with this young lady. I really am. Even more so than the other ones, if that's possible. Yeah, it is possible. And Happy says, thank you, Panay. I'll tell you what, folks. Oh my goodness. It's been 3 hours and 15 minutes. I can't believe it. I don't think I've ever had a live stream this long, a personal live stream, since I was doing split screens with Mike over in Masbate. I know we had some long ones, but oh my goodness, I need to get off here. I think I need a CR break, and actually, I might even drink another cup of coffee, or I'm going to go check out TJI Fridays this afternoon. And I appreciate everybody Norm, still hear me. Norm, you're a tried and true friend, man. I appreciate you down there in Australia. I hope you got 20 devices going, man. I appreciate that because that's gonna boost the watch hours. And man, that's awesome. Thanks for being here, Norm. I know you're busy and you may have the volume turned down, and that's all good. But I know you're watching, and I appreciate that. So there's Cray Cray saying hi, and drink some peach. Stone Cold. I need to go get some more of that, man. Thanks for reminding me. I need to go there to Marketplace and get some more of that peach Bundaberg. And Cray Cray's new here. Well, Cray Cray, you got on right at the end, man. I've been on here. I say, man, you might be a girl. I don't know. 25th like support from Canada. Awesome. Canadian. That's great. One of our North American brothers. Thanks for coming in. I wish you had been here earlier. We talked about a lot of things. We were talking about relationships, and Panay Hart was here giving some great advice. But you're welcome. Hit that thumbs up. I appreciate that. And if you want to subscribe, that's great too. Craig, thanks so much. Yep. And Norm says, have a great afternoon, Colonel. Catch you later, mate. See ya, everyone. 3 hours and 16 minutes. Yeah, that's crazy, isn't it? That was a super long stream, but a good one. It was a good one, Happy. And you know what? You were a big part of that. And you helped that conversation along and getting advice. And Panay Hart giving us some great relationship advice, marital advice for those of us that aren't married and still trying to be. But yeah, it's a long stream. Good one. I subscribe, my friend. Thanks, Craig. I hope you come back when I'm live again, and we can get to know each other a little bit more. Hey, we can talk about Canada. I've been through Canada and been in Canada more than one time. But folks, that's the Colonel from the Colonels Chronicles. Oh, we got more. Thank you for your time, Colonel Happa. Absolutely, Happa, anytime. And Craig says, yes, I will. But I'm going to sign off, folks, because the CR is calling me. And I'll give my salute. God bless. Tell the people that you love them, because you just never know when you get the next chance to say you love them again. And you all take care. God bless. The Colonel is out.